571. Keek. A sound like something is being forcibly moved. I barely regain consciousness within that sound. This is, yes, right after I died in the bearing tree heavenly domain. The world has begun to turn. I see. I let out a faint sigh as I look around, experiencing regression for the first time since advancing to true immortal. Everything seems to be reversing. Soon, this reversing world transforms into the shape of a river. After a while, I enter that river of familiar scenes and begin to regress once more. I see. Suddenly, I understand one of the principles of regression. At first, it just feels like the world is reversing, but then I am bounced into a world I call the river of time. This space of regression is similar to the true immortal realm. But it's not the true immortal realm. Still, it's certainly similar. This place is. It's a space that transcends the original world itself. I can feel it is so. Thanks to that, I realize that regression isn't simply about turning back time. Rather, it's one of the methods of transcending the world. Time and space. A power that transcends fate and history. No, this regression is at the level of toying with fate and history. What on earth is it? As I reflect on the power of regression, I faintly grasp what kind of power is granted to the Enders. Are all the authorities granted to the Enders powers that either toy with fate and history or transcend them? Perhaps this regression belongs to that category as well. And I come to realize another fact. Death. Death is what draws out the power of regression to its extreme. That's right. In truth, my real authority doesn't seem to be something like death regression. Rather, the reason I cannot wield the authority to control regression or time at will is because I haven't realized my own fate. Because I haven't realized my fate, I am forced to bear the risk of death to trigger the authority to defy time. Now that I've reached the realm of true immortal, I can see much more than before. I look up at the sky as I go against the river of history. In the past, I had to be extremely cautious not to look at that sky. After all, seeing governing immortals during regression could have driven me mad. But now, it's no longer a problem. Instead, I observe the 10 seats floating beneath the black sky. So far, I've identified the emblems of 2 out of the 10 seats. Mountain exuding darkness. White wheel. In other words, the great mountain supreme deity and the heavenly venerable of the underworld. Shall I try to identify the other seats as well? While regressing, I examine the seats and manage to read 3 more located at the center. Transparent seed. 6 interconnected stars. Black and 3 great ultimates. That's what they are. As I recognize those seats, I come to know who their owners are, along with their names. Eastern Heavenly Venerable, Flower Monarch, Guan Miang, Guan Ming. Southern Heavenly Venerable, True Ultimate Eternal Life Great Emperor, Qian Wen Tian Yun. Northern Heavenly Venerable, True Martial Great Emperor, Haion Mu Zan Wu. These are the names of the Heavenly Venerables. Then the other supreme deities in the underworld are. Just as I am about to look at the other seats. Damn. Unfortunately, the time for regression ends here. I close my eyes, aware that I am about to reach reality once more. A new life begins. The first moment of my 1002nd life is there. I see, this place is. It's the very moment right after I used heavenly escape from the interdimensional void to the domain of purity, declaring my intention to advance to true immortality before the great Sun Heavenly Lord. Damn, I need to focus. Perhaps it's because I've regressed to right after the true immortal advancement ritual. Even though there are many things I need to think about, I can't focus my mind within the domain of purity. Despite having grown accustomed to heavenly escape, I realize my consciousness is fading and understand why. History repetition. Damn, a repeating history becomes an immortal art in itself. It was the teaching of Glass Peacock. KK. Despite having grown used to heavenly escape in my previous life, my true immortal advancement ritual lasted 3,000 years. Because that history has been fixed, it cannot be twisted with ordinary power. No, I have to regain consciousness faster. And so, I fall asleep once more within the domain of purity. I end up having to undergo the true immortal advancement ritual again. Life and death are accepted. At the same time, I snap my eyes open, regaining consciousness directly at the true immortal plane. This place. I see. In the end, the regression point has been fixed. What determines the fixing of the regression point? It's clearly something that is beyond my comprehension. One thing is certain, the interdimensional void. I once thought it was the head realm that served as the standard, but it wasn't. The regression point has always been fixed whenever I passed through the interdimensional void. True Martial Great Emperor Haion Mu. Recalling her hollow laughter, I can't shake the thought that the heavenly venerable of void is somehow connected to regression. Sooner or later, I'll inevitably have to clash with her. Now then, should I wait for Great Mountain Supreme Deity's true immortal advancement ritual? Just as I prepare to receive the gaze of the Great Mountain Supreme Deity. Quote. Something feels off. I look up at the distant sky of the true immortal realm. The 10 seats located there. None of them pay attention to me. No, that's not true. I can feel that each of them is giving me a bit of attention. They are curious. But that's all. What is this? The Great Mountain Supreme Deity does not impose tribulation upon me, nor does the naming Supreme Deity appear for some reason. Something is strange. While feeling this strange sense of déjà vu, I realize that my true immortal advancement has somehow been completed. What is this? I see. The body from my past life. The body that had been entirely destroyed by the Sword Spear Heavenly Lord in my past life has followed me through regression. And the potential of that body has now merged with my current body in this life. Has the advancement ritual become unnecessary because the immortal body that completed the true immortal advancement in my previous life has fused with the immortal body of this life? This is good. For now, let's descend to the lower realm and assess the situation. Wo Wang. I slowly descend to the lower plane using the impermanence sword. Once fully descended, I observe the positions of the stars and the flow of attraction force, realizing something. Wait, this is different. It's different. This is. Indeed. In my past life, I regained consciousness 3,000 years after advancing to true immortality. But in this life, I regressed to the point right after beginning my true immortal advancement and awakened after approximately 2,960 years after completing my advancement. The time taken for the true immortal advancement is faster than before. It's a slight difference, but faster nonetheless. Is it because of experienced advancing to true immortality one more time? I seem to regain consciousness faster in the domain of purity. Haha, that's right. Though history repeats itself, through regression, small changes can be made little by little even within those subtle repetitions. Well, good. For now, just as I become aware of the shift in the timeline and begin to move swiftly. Pot. A flash of light bursts forth. At the same time, time itself seems to come to a halt. I widen my eyes at the presence before me. The being that has appeared before me. That being is Yang Ji Wang. Yes, it is the Sword Spear Heavenly Lord who revealed their true name in my past life. The giant god of light wearing a silver-white mask radiates silver-white light before me. For a while, I stare at the Sword Spear Heavenly Lord. I was foolish. It is my fault. Perhaps it's because of the traumatic memory of being torn apart along with the heavenly domain in my past life that my mind is momentarily frozen. So, this is how I'll die immediately after regressing. I shut my eyes tightly, waiting for the death that is soon to come, or perhaps the sadistic torment of the Sword Spear Heavenly Lord. However, at that moment, the Sword Spear Heavenly Lord looks around, then disappears while speaking words similar to those from my past life. There was foresight that you would appear here. I see. Since you are of the Heart tribe, you might have moved through the plane of soul. After finishing their words, the Sword Spear Heavenly Lord disappears before my eyes just like before, mentioning they will go somewhere I might visit. Seeing this, I realize something. That reaction is. I descend and sit at the altar created by Hong Fan, observing my inner self. Within me, something very familiar illuminates me, and something that should have been inside me has disappeared. A part of my soul is missing, and in its place, is an immortal title. Immortal title, Crystal Glass. Indeed, the immortal title, Crystal Glass being, granted to me by the naming Supreme Deity, Haion Rang, still remains within me. And from that, I come to realize a terrifying truth. Does that mean, what has been exchanged directly with governing immortals remains even after regression? I can't fully understand the exact principle. Considering that memories aren't directly passed to the governing immortals, and only one of them can follow regression, it might just be speculation. However, one thing is certain, they are beings capable of resisting, to a significant extent, the authority of the Enders. Master, here you are. Ah, Hong Fan. Yes, it's been a while. I smile as I lock eyes with the familiar face of Hong Fan. Facing Hong Fan, I set aside my complicated thoughts for a moment, starting a new life as I briefly look up at the sky. Regardless of the outcome, I've regressed again. My head starts to ache. Glass Peacock, who threw herself to save me in the final moment. And the sword spear heavenly lord, who destroyed me with the technique called filling the heavens sword rain, yet, to the very end, failed to suppress the warmth held for me. Now, both of them have become beings beyond regression. Single quote. It was a good life. Drip. Master, what is wrong? As I recall the final moments of my past life, tears flow down my face. Hong Fan, flustered, hands me a handkerchief, and I wipe my tears as I speak. It's nothing. I just thought of those I'm grateful for. Since the words have already come out, I bow in the center of Hong Fan's altar, offering my respects to my masters of my past life. Thank you, not just to my masters, but to that past life itself. And so, my 1002nd life begins with gratitude towards the life before. Alright, Hong Fan, I was just sorting out my emotions over something that troubled me. Let's move on. This time, I probably won't be able to visit the head realm. I'll likely have to send Hong Fan or some others there instead. I'll tell them to bring the golden divine heavenly thunder sect out from the head realm, and for the connections in the other middle realms. It seems I'll have to bid farewell through dream manifestation Xian Meng. And this time, I'll directly take Golden Shaking Bird with me to find Yohi. There's probably no need to fight Golden Shaking Bird this time. After all, she'll know our purpose. And by visiting Yohi with Golden Shaking Bird, there won't be any unnecessary history of betrayal. It'll be good for both sides. That's right, now that I think about it, I paid less attention to the Candle Dragon race in my past life. In this life, I should check how the Candle Dragon race is faring. Good. Now then, shall we move quickly to meet Jeon Myung-hoon? With that resolve, I soar into the sky alongside Hong Fan. Let's go, Hong Fan. Yes. Then, I'll dispose of that altar. At those words, I glance down at the altar Hong Fan created. It's a stone altar on a desolate planet, but beneath it, I see small creatures squirming that appear to be bugs and snake-like beings. Among them, a silver snake particularly catches my eye, stirring memories of Gyunai from my past life. For some reason, it feels wrong to just let it die. Don't do that. It seems to have become a habitat for many creatures. I am not sure. They are utterly useless life forms. No different from trash. Besides, the altar has served its purpose, so disposing of it seems appropriate. Quote. Well, if it is Master's wish, I will show some mercy. Seeing the look in my eyes, Hong Fan nods and waves his hand. Kurururung. The altar sinks deep into the ground, and the nearby creatures are gently pushed underground along with it. Not a single life, not even a bug is harmed. They'll continue living beneath the surface. I did not destroy it. Just buried it. Will this suffice? Yes, that's enough. There's no need to kill innocent living beings. Ha, merciful as always, Master. Listen well, you creatures. I intended to discard you along with the altar, but Master has spared you. Know your place, and live without ever attempting to surface above the ground again. With those parting words, Hong Fan and I swiftly move into the interdimensional void of the Sun and Moon heavenly domain. As we travel, I reflect on the teachings of my past life master. The final lesson from Glass Peacock. The past never returns, and history revision is merely a difference in the perspective through which we interpret the unchanging past. Yet, amidst these thoughts, a strange feeling creeps in. Single quote. Wait, if that's the case, what exactly is my wheel? How is it performing something like rewriting Gai Bian rather than a mere revision Gai Quan? My eyes widen at the terrifying truth I've just uncovered. Just how, and by what principle, does the wheel produce miracles that directly violate the absolute axiom of history? 572. Wheel, what exactly is it? Wing. As I move, I float the wheel and begin to contemplate its essence. Master, why are you suddenly using that? Hong Fan sees my immortal art and is startled, his eyes widening. I'm just trying to explore the principles behind this immortal art. Is there a problem? I apologize. Somehow, just looking at that wheel stirs unpleasant feelings within me. It's enough to give me a headache. It feels like there's a chilling malice festering inside me. I am slightly surprised when I see the look in Hong Fan's eyes. It's exactly as he says. He is exuding an intense malice directed at someone. It's a feeling deeper than anger or hatred, no. It's something so powerful that it can hardly be called an emotion, but rather malice itself in its purest form. What on earth is this? Thinking that Hong Fan might break down if this continues, I put the wheel away for now. Understood. I'll study it later. More importantly, That malice, who is it directed toward? Quote. I am not sure. It seems to be tied to a connection from a past life. But what is certain is that it is aimed at the founder of the wheel. The founder of the wheel. That means, the heavenly venerable of the underworld. But at my words, Hong Fan shakes his head frantically. And no, not that side. Definitely not. As soon as I mention the heavenly venerable of the underworld, Hong Fan abruptly erases the malice from his expression and clears his throat awkwardly. It seems I still cannot fully recall. I apologize. But if I keep looking at that wheel, it feels like my mind will shatter. It is an outrageous request as your subordinate, but please, do not show that immortal art in front of me. I am really, truly sorry. All right, I understand. I nod, deciding to research the wheel slowly at a later time. Then, to divert Hong Fan's attention, I first ask him to head to the head realm and retrieve the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder Sect. Since Hong Fan is currently at the integration stage, he should be able to withstand it. Starting with the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder Sect, I should meet the other connections once more before moving on. Afterward, I greet my connections in each middle realm through split souls. I'd like to enter the head realm again, but it's dangerous. As Hong Fan mentioned in the last cycle, making others worry too much isn't a good idea. I organize my connections in the middle realms, then receive the clear scale armor and a portion of ancient force from Heilin again before heading to the Lightning Sacred Sea. At the Lightning Sacred Sea, I explain things in advance to Golden Shaking Bird, form an alliance with the promise of arranging a meeting with Jaeon Myung-hoon, and together with Golden Shaking Bird, I return from the Lightning Sacred Sea and take Yohei as my subordinate again. This time, there's no betrayal, so I personally handle Yohei's refinement. Then, along with the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder Sect and the now reascended Hong Fan, I find Hamjin and Yohei and kill them. Afterward, I quietly sense the beings connected to my bloodline. Wu Wang, they are beings now scattered across the universe. Those who have inherited my bloodline, the Candle Dragon race. The Candle Dragon race has been passed down through generations and generations, and now they're born with innate power at the Qi building level. However, even that seems to have its limits. The realm can no longer be passed down beyond that point. The Candle Dragon race settled within a galactic cluster, flourishing their culture and living relatively happy lives. The only issue is that the human race frequently invades to hunt them as ingredients for Dharma treasures or pills. However, the Candle Dragon race doesn't just sit back and take it. Occasionally, human race cultivators at the 4-axis stage from the upper realm come to cause trouble, but gathering 3 or 4 Candle Dragons at the heavenly being stage is enough to defeat even those upper realm cultivators, so there's no major problem in preserving the race. Interestingly, the Candle Dragon race hardly ascends. Wherever they go, the Candle Dragon race alters the surrounding environment to resemble their homeland. While it's an optimized environment for the Candle Dragon race, for other races, no matter how strong, it's nothing short of hell. Because of this habit of turning their surroundings into a living hell even after ascending to the middle realm, most of them end up being driven out. It wouldn't be an issue in the Chaos realm, but the Candle Dragon race dislikes the Chaos realm due to its scarce heaven and earth spiritual energy. Thus, they have no choice but to settle on a stellar system within the astral realm, where they continue to flourish. If a Candle Dragon reaches the heavenly being stage or beyond, they seem to elevate their realm through an ancient cultivation method of entering the interior of a fixed star to absorb its heaven and earth spiritual energy. Currently, the highest realm among the Candle Dragon race is at the Grand Perfection 4-axis stage, seemingly on the verge of reaching the integration stage. While that one is in meditation, I put them to sleep, appear in their dream, and teach them the immortal art of the integration stage, various omens, as well as enlightenment into the examination of doubts of the star-shattering stage. Afterward, I exit from their dream. The Candle Dragon who receives my teachings is overjoyed, vowing to reach the integration stage without fail. Watching them, I bestow my good fortune for their future path. Some time later, Hong Fan ascends once again from the head realm, having collectively ascended the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder Sect, and returns with me to the Lightning Sacred Sea. Goo. Just like in the previous life, the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder Sect settles on the first floor of the Lightning Sacred Sea. From now on, the disciples of the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder Sect will absorb the heaven and earth lightning energy here to grow. Did your trip to the head realm go well? Yes, Master. Here is the situation of those Master wanted to check on. Hong Fan casts an illusion within the heaven and earth spiritual energy, transmitting the information to me through the vision. As expected, the head realm remains unchanged from before. The people living there are all doing well, just like last time. I nod, then suddenly ask him a question. By the way, Hong Fan. I asked you to keep an eye out for a man or woman wrapped in bandages with a mask covering their face. Did you find anyone like that? Ah, yes. I searched the entire head realm because of Master's request, but no such being exists in the head realm. I furrow my brows. What is this? Is this because of the time discrepancy? Haha. Well, if the existence is as Master described, that person might have been just an ordinary mortal. Perhaps Master misjudged the timing, and they've already died and been buried in the dirt, don't you think? I let out a low hum, unsure how to explain, Yun-I, to Hong Fan. Quote. Well, it's fine for now. Maybe it was just my misunderstanding. Considering the shift in timeline, I start to think that the Sword Spear Heavenly Lord might have gone somewhere else first. Alright, let's put that aside and depart. To the Bearing Tree Heavenly Domain. Yes, Master. With that, I refine Yohi, assimilating her with myself, then temporarily kill Hong Fan, Ham Jin, and Yuhi to send them to the outskirts of the underworld. Then, together with Golden Shaking Bird, I head towards the Bearing Tree Heavenly Domain. Wing, the great desolate path shines, guiding us to the Bearing Tree Heavenly Domain. Let's go, to the Bearing Tree Heavenly Domain. Quajijijijik. And amidst the golden lightning, the Heavenly Domain transfer begins. Sun and Moon Heavenly Domain, Astral Realm. The planet where Seo Un-yun first descended, the one where the altar stood. In front of that planet, a giant god of light radiating silver-white light appears. It's not easily visible. Must I really go to the head realm? Radiance 8 Immortals, 5th seat. It is the Sword Spear Heavenly Lord. The Sword Spear Heavenly Lord takes out Seo Un-yun's vestige and grips it tightly. According to the foresight derived from the vestige, it should have been here. Did something go wrong? The Sword Spear Heavenly Lord stays still for a moment, then reveals a hint of anger as if irritated by something. Does this mean I have to go all the way to the head realm to find out? Must I bear such risks? Damn it, Seo Un-yun, you bastard, Kurururung. At the Sword Spear Heavenly Lord's fury, the stars in the vicinity crumble and are sucked into them. The planet where the altar once stood also turns to dust, and even the souls of the insignificant beings within are wholly swallowed by the Sword Spear Heavenly Lord. Why is this happening? Why does thinking of him stir me like this? Is it the authority of the Ender of this era? Regardless, such bothersome things. As if displeased despite having devoured several planets at once, the Sword Spear Heavenly Lord clutches their chest at the strange emotion surging within. I must go to the head realm. There, if I peer into the heavenly void furnace Tien Kong Lu, I should be able to find Seo Un-yun. Wing, the Sword Spear Heavenly Lord transforms into light and heads toward the head realm, thinking. Seo Un-yun must be found. The Ender who possesses the phenomena extinguishing mantra. I must find him and. Kugugugugu. Beyond the silver-white mask, the eyes of the Sword Spear Heavenly Lord blaze. I must attain the clue to find the seats of radiance, Mutwu and Gi stolen by the mountain gods. If I capture him, Radiance Hall will regain the honor it held in the distant past when it was the era of the Radiance 10 Heavens. Editor. Wu and Ji are 2 of the 10 heavenly stems Tien Gon the 5th and 6th respectively. Sword Spear Heavenly Lord, a being originally named Ji Wang de Huang. Born with the sole purpose of restoring the lost seats of the Radiance 10 Heavens, Castle Wall Heavenly Lord Xing Yuan Tien Jun and Field Garden Heavenly Lord Tien Yuan Tien Jun speeds up even more towards the head realm while thinking of Seo Un-yun, who holds the key to fulfilling her life's wish. Strange. Why didn't Hong Fan meet Yang Ji Wang? I ponder this while recalling the true name of Yun-I, which I came to know of in my past life. Is it a matter of timelines? That's the most likely scenario. No, perhaps. I think of Hong Fan, whom I temporarily killed for the purpose of the heavenly domain transfer, and ask Golden Shaking Bird. Golden Shaking Bird, by the way, do you know the immortal titles and symbols of the 11 governings? Yes, of course. The immortal titles and symbols of the governing immortals are common knowledge among true immortals. Would you like me to tell you? Starting with the supreme deities, the most famous is the Radiance Supreme Deity Hyuxia. Their symbol is the black snake biting its tail. I never said I didn't know. Ah, Radiance Supreme Deity Hyuxia. I already knew the names and symbols of the governing immortals, including theirs, thanks to the basic knowledge of the true immortal realm that Blood Yin imparted to me. However, Blood Yin apparently didn't know their real names, as he referred to GWAKM as Ra Qian Luo Tian. Of course, that wasn't important. What concerns me right now is Hong Fan. Hong Fan has always been unusually connected to the Black Snake. He has shown ties to the underworld, and he seems to be gradually recalling memories of his past life. There were also mentions suggesting he was a very ancient being in his past life. Moreover, he's oddly eager to associate with the heavenly venerable of the underworld, even blushing when seeing them. Considering all this along with the information about the supreme deity of Raindance Hall, the Radiance Supreme Deity Hyuk-Sa, a single conclusion forms in my mind. Hong Fan was a reaper of the underworld in his past life, one of the immortal beasts affiliated with the underworld. Normally, that ancient feeling is something typically sensed from immortal beasts. And since most immortal beasts are affiliated with the underworld, Hong Fan likely was as well. Moreover, the fact that he blushes in front of the heavenly venerable of the underworld and recalls past life memories strengthens this inference. He wouldn't have been affiliated with Radiance Hall. Probably not. Logically speaking, the underworld governs reincarnation and rebirth, so would they be crazy and leave a chance for a true immortal affiliated with Radiance Hall to recover their memories in the next life? Yet, the fact that he's frequently connected to the Black Snake. Perhaps that means, I recall the middle realms of the interdimensional void in the Bearing Tree Heavenly Domain from my past life. The middle realms of the Bearing Tree Heavenly Domain, the corpses of true immortals who served under the Heavenly Punishment Supreme Deity were arranged in the shape of a snake biting its tail. In other words, they are stretched out in the symbolic form of Radiance Hall. True immortals affiliated with Radiance Hall leave the mark of a snake biting its tail on those who resist, or form such marks with their corpses. Alternatively, they assign such a fate, causing the mark to form naturally. Considering these facts, Hong Fan is highly likely to be a former Reaper now entangled in the fate of Radiance Hall. A Reaper or an immortal beast who fiercely resisted Radiance Hall in a past life, was annihilated and then reincarnated. That's most likely who Hong Fan is. A pitiful soul, branded with the mark of Radiance Hall upon his very fate. Of course, there's one more other possibility. But I choose not to dwell on that possibility for now. If it turns out to be true, I may never be able to forgive myself. At any rate, Hong Fan's failure to meet the Sword Spear Heavenly Lord might not be a mere coincidence or a matter of timelines. It could be a matter of fate. I form a theory while contemplating the relationship between Hong Fan and the Heavenly Lords of Radiance Hall. Hong Fan died resisting Radiance Hall in his past life. If we assume it wasn't a coincidence that he couldn't meet Sword Spear Heavenly Lord, then this fate was imposed by Radiance Hall, which branded Hong Fan with the fate of the Black Snake. Thus, from Radiance Hall's perspective, Hong Fan was deemed to not meet any Heavenly Lords affiliated with them. In other words, Hong Fan himself is an existence that poses an enormous threat to the forces of light. That seems plausible. Just looking at Hong Fan's integrated Dao domain, Darkness World, reveals a power that devours light. Yang Su Jin once said that our existence is always watched over by the light in ways we can't even imagine. A truly terrifying thought. However, if my theory is correct, the day Hong Fan regains his memories, we might be able to break free from those constraints to some extent. And perhaps, Yang Ji Wang, maybe her as well. At some point, I find myself hoping that I can rescue Sword Spear Heavenly Lord from Radiance Hall. Considering that Hong Fan will eventually regain his memories, it might just be possible. With those thoughts, I arrive at the Bearing Tree Heavenly Domain. Kurung, kururururung. I burst out from the golden lightning that is a heavenly tribulation. This time, I carefully control my rank to prevent any unnecessary casualties. But then, I sense something strange. Kurururung. The one struck by the heavenly tribulation, is already dead. It seems we've emerged amidst the remnants of the heavenly tribulation after the creature had already died. Golden Shaking Bird grumbles, claiming I bring misfortune or some nonsense like that, so I smack her once and look around the dead demon beast's surroundings. And then I see a familiar face. HRK, hic, single quote ... Again, a demon race around the core formation stage. A female of the blood shark race, seemingly yet to advance to the nascent soul stage. That's right, this time as well, I have encountered Dua. Single quote ... Interesting. I smirk and glance up at the sky. Is this the aftereffect of history repetition, or could it be that even true immortals cannot truly escape fate? Either way, it's an intriguing hypothesis. And what's even more nerve-wracking here is, no matter which theory is correct, does this mean all, definitely, Meet Glass Peacock again. It means I'm bound to encounter Glass Peacock once more. Chapter 573. Radiance 10 Heavens Guangming Shi Tian 2. Kurururung. I completely emerge from the heavenly tribulation, lowering my rank as I approach Duhua. Duhua looks up at me, flinching in fear, and bows her head to the ground. Are you perhaps a senior at the 4-axis stage? WHWH, what brings senior to me? 4-axis, huh, well, I'm at a realm higher than that. First, that demon race over there who died from the heavenly tribulation, do you know him? Quote. He's my brother. He was impatient and recklessly faced the heavenly tribulation without even properly preparing for the nascent soul advancement, and died just like that. I consider whether to bring Duhua's brother back to life, but soon realize that he's already plunged deep into the underworld without any lingering attachments to this life. I let out a sigh. Seems like, your brother didn't have much attachment to this world. Yes, that's right. He always boasted that if he couldn't advance his cultivation, he'd just aim for the next life. An impatient fellow. Quote. Yes, he was really an impatient one. Duhua's eyes glisten with tears, uncharacteristic for someone of the blood shark race. I click my tongue as I watch her. If he had only stayed in the outskirts of the underworld, I could have revived him, but he had to rush straight into its depths, making it impossible to bring him back. I can't carelessly bring someone back if they themselves had no lingering attachments. All right, then, Duhua, I have a few proposals for you. I present a few proposals to the sniffling Duhua. Just like in the past life, I ask her to become a temporary devotee of me and Golden Shaking Bird. Duhua nearly faints in shock upon realizing our identities, but she accepts our proposal. Once again, Duhua becomes the temporary vessel of Golden Shaking Bird. HMPH, to think I'm stuck in the body of a mere core formation stage demon race. It's so inconvenient I could die. Kurururung. As soon as Golden Shaking Bird takes over Duhua's body, she quickly raises the cultivation realm to the heavenly being stage, absorbs the heavenly tribulation to replenish energy, and grumbles while reshaping Duhua's transformation form into her own. Can't be helped. Now, just follow me. We're going to find Jaeon Myung-hoon. I summon Yohi and ride her towards the Divine Thunder Realm. At the eastern edge of the Divine Thunder Realm, in the Chaos Realm, I spot a small hut that seems to have been built by Jaeon Myung-hoon. But just before Golden Shaking Bird can dash toward him, teary-eyed from sensing Jaeon Myung-hoon's aura. Hold on, Golden Shaking Bird. Yes, what is it, Elder? Chi-ji-ji-ji-ji-ji. I absorb heaven and earth spiritual energy, slightly raising my cultivation to the heavenly being stage. Then, in that state, I concentrate a curse spell into my left hand that's potent enough to affect even true immortals. Kia, under the immense power of the curse, the surrounding celestial energy distorts into malevolence. Sensing the anomaly, Jaeon Myung-hoon bursts out of the hut in a panic, but it's already too late. Feel the pain, Jaeon Myung-hoon. Kwang, the spear formed with the curse spell doesn't strike Jaeon Myung-hoon directly. Instead, it pierces the ground beneath his feet. The moment it touches the earth, the curse detonates, transforming the area into a hellish demonic landscape. Kuog. There, I see Jaeon Myung-hoon writhing in agony, consumed by unbearable pain. Boong, boong, boong. Unfazed by his suffering, I continue hurling curse-infused spears, each one laden with my own torment. The sheer agony distorts the very fabric of space-time, causing parts of the middle realm's dimension to melt away. At the center of it all, Jaeon Myung-hoon absorbs fragments of my pain into his very being, enduring unspeakable torment. Pain worse than death itself. Golden Shaking Bird, who had been staring dumbfounded at the scene, contorts her face like an evil spirit and tries to attack me in fury. You vile fiend, what are you doing to my master? Quaduduk. But with a single strike, I subdue Golden Shaking Bird and patiently wait for Jaeon Myung-hoon to endure and overcome the agony. Wait a little, if I don't give him misfortune beforehand, it'll be dangerous later. What? And so, after some time, having burned away all the curses with his own lightning, Jaeon Myung-hoon looks around with bloodshot eyes. Seeing him like that, I leap down in front of him alongside Golden Shaking Bird. Jaeon Myung-hoon, long time no see, master. Hick, I'm sorry, I couldn't stop that vile villain from casting those curses. Please forgive Golden Shaking Bird. At Golden Shaking Bird's words, Jaeon Myung-hoon seems to grasp the situation and growls, glaring at me. Good to see you, Seo Eun-yun, but why the hell did you suddenly bombard me with curse spells like a madman? Ah, I'm a bit sorry about that. It's because I had to become the misfortune brought here by Golden Shaking Bird for you. I hope you understand. You, Jaeon Myung-hoon, do you not trust me? Quote. Jaeon Myung-hoon grits his teeth, glaring at me, then forcibly takes deep breaths, suppressing his anger. Quote. I'll trust you, damn bastard. Ha ha ha. Thanks to scattering misfortune in advance this time, Jaeon Myung-hoon manages not to coincidentally advance to true immortality upon seeing me. After exchanging brief words with Jaeon Myung-hoon, I ask why he still hasn't attempted his true immortal advancement. By the way, Jaeon Myung-hoon, why haven't you tried advancing to true immortality yet? Your immortal art seems complete. Hey, the immortal art is complete. But, it's a matter of resolve. Who can so easily throw themselves into the domain of death? Is that so? I understand the situation Jaeon Myung-hoon is in. It seems he's waiting for a bit of a push. Jaeon Myung-hoon, then let me tell you about my true immortal advancement experience. Listen closely. I share with Jaeon Myung-hoon the process of my advancement, the feeling of embracing life and death, and the things I saw when I followed him into the underworld in the past life. Is it perhaps because I've experienced life and death multiple times? I don't explain vaguely like others. Instead, I convey clear, precise insights to Jaeon Myung-hoon. That's accurate. Golden Shaking Bird also shares a bit of her experience to aid Jaeon Myung-hoon's true immortal advancement. Of course, since she forcibly advanced to true immortality as a thunder beast, it's not particularly helpful. Listen carefully, Jaeon Myung-hoon. You will succeed in your true immortal advancement. Quote. Quote. I will make sure of it. So, follow the path your fate points to without hesitation. Quote. Quote. Jaeon Myung-hoon lets out a low breath at my words, then nods. Quote. All right, if you say so, I'll trust you this time as well. Pjjjjjjjjk. Without another word, he begins his true immortal advancement on the spot. Golden Shaking Bird seems a bit startled by the suddenness of it, but I nod. After all, in our past life, the reason I followed him was because both Golden Shaking Bird and I were considered misfortunes to him. In this life, since I've already thrown misfortune at him and he's attempting the advancement on his own will, the success rate is much higher. Of course, since there's still a chance of failure, I prepare the impermanence sword, ready to rush to the underworld if any sign of trouble appears. And so, after half a day passes. Quirurururung. Jaeon Myung-hoon bursts out from the underworld with thunderclaps, as if celebrating his true immortal advancement, and rises to the true immortal plane. From there, everything proceeds smoothly. He once again draws the gaze of the heavenly punishment supreme deity and receives the immortal title Heaven Destroying One from the naming supreme deity. I revive Hong Fan, Yu He, and Ham Jin in the bearing tree heavenly domain, and we share long conversations. Reuniting with Jaeon Myung-hoon. Everything up to that point proceeds according to plan. The morning after Jaeon Myung-hoon's true immortal advancement, I speak to my comrades. I'm against going to the astral realm. What, were you even listening during our talk yesterday? Jaeon Myung-hoon snaps at me, and Golden Shaking Bird, perched on his shoulder in the form of a hummingbird, joins in sharply. Exactly. Seriously, you need to go to the astral realm to undergo the cultivation of the Radiance 10 heavens to advance to upper immortal. Are you stupid, Elder? I'm not stupid, it's just that we have things to do here right now, so I'm suggesting we postpone going to the astral realm. What could you possibly do in this wretched middle realm? Elder and my master are both Vestige Liberation Immortals now. Is there anything more important than cultivating as a Vestige Liberation Immortal? I need to check on the other comrades from our hometown besides Jaeon Myung-hoon. So shut your mouth. No, just who does Elder think he is to shut me up? I am my master's messenger. Golden Shaking Bird, Seo Eun-yun is speaking. Be quiet. Jaeon Myung-hoon grabs Golden Shaking Bird's beak to shut it up, and I continue explaining. First, we'll rely on Hong Fan and Jaeon Myung-hoon's help regarding the status of our comrades. I calmly lay out the plan. Hong Fan has a unique technique called Void Sword, which allows him to read the flow of heavenly tribulation and even control it. Moreover, when combined with the authority of the Earth Tribe, he can trace the flow back to its very source. I know, and as you already know, Jaeon Myung-hoon holds the authority to command heavenly tribulation at will. When their powers are combined, the range of what we can attempt increases significantly. Such as, Hong Fan. I call for Hong Fan. I heard you have the auras of our other comrades. Yes, master. I kept them just in case. Wu Wang. From Hong Fan's sleeve, 6 auras rise. Kim Young-hoon's, Jaeon Myung-hoon's, Kong Min-hee's, Oh Yun-sok's, Kim Yeon's, and my own aura. Unfortunately, there's none from Oh Hai-seo, but I don't care since I'm not interested in Oh Hai-seo's status anyway. Jaeon Myung-hoon, you'll cultivate these auras and refine them through heavenly tribulation. You can handle that, right? I can. The immortal art of red lightning heavenly tribulation is specialized in controlling heavenly tribulation. And after that, then, during Hong Fan's star-shattering stage advancement, embed those refined heavenly tribulations into him along with the star tribulations. This way, Hong Fan will be able to read the aura of those heavenly tribulations and trace their source. Is that really possible for a mere integration stage centipede demon? Of course, I'll also combine my Earth tribe senses with Hong Fan's to observe together. With the help of my true immortal insight and Hong Fan's genius, we'll surely be able to read the status of our comrades. Jaeon Myung-hoon contemplates for a moment, then nods willingly. Thus, we decide not to head straight to the astral realm but to make preparations for a few years before making our way there. You're asking if I can activate the Great Desolate Path one more time? Golden Shaking Bird shakes her head at my question. Not possible at the moment. Of course, if Master returns and promises to pet Golden Shaking Bird whenever Golden Shaking Bird desires, I can act as the main soul of the Great Desolate Path and operate it. Additionally, with the authority of the Fate Master possesses, he should be able to unlock all the hidden functions of the Great Desolate Path. Then why can't you do it immediately? You're truly foolish, old man CEO. Don't call me old monster. You're not denying being foolish. Hee hee. Anyway, if I connect with the Great Desolate Path and become its main soul, I can certainly use many of its functions. But how are we supposed to return to the lightning sacred sea where the Great Desolate Path is right now? The Sun and Moon Heavenly Domain connects only to the Heavenly King Heavenly Domain, which is the base of Radiance Hall. In other words, to get back to the lightning sacred sea, we must pass through the base of Radiance Hall. Do you think that is possible? I let out a faint sigh at those words. To properly operate the Great Desolate Path and travel across all heavenly domains, a being like Golden Shaking Bird must act as its main soul. But to convince Golden Shaking Bird, I'd have to bring her along all the way to the Bearing Tree Heavenly Domain, far from the Great Desolate Path. Is that it? If I told you to wait as the main soul of the Great Desolate Path while I bring Yang Su-jin's reincarnation, would you have believed me? Ah ha ha, absolutely not. Master always taught us thunder beasts never to trust anyone. So we trust no one except Master. Of course, it seems some ungrateful thunder beasts decided not to trust even Master. Then, how should I persuade Golden Shaking Bird when the next life comes? I live each life to the fullest. But beyond that, I need to understand my position as a regressor. I have to think about the next life too. I must create an absolute proof that can persuade Golden Shaking Bird. I'll have to think about that. From now on, with that thought, I watch Hong Fan as he prepares for his advancement in the Chaos Realm of the Divine Thunder Realm. This time, Jaeon Myung-hoon is set to oversee Hong Fan's Star Tribulation. KWAGWAGWA Guang. Hong Fan, having restored his cultivation to the Grand Perfection integration stage, explodes himself. From within, he condenses himself through basic immortal arts, forming the body of the star-shattering stage. Kururururung. Dust clouds condense, and the star tribulations begin to react. Naturally, since there's hardly any starlight in the Chaos Realm, the star tribulations Hong Fan must endure are few in number. However, Jaejeong, as expected, I frown, watching the star tribulation strike down with a momentum capable of destroying worlds. It's the same this time. Hong Fan's star tribulation is far more intense than what others endure. Kurururung. Though this will strengthen his connection to the stars through the heavenly tribulation, a single moment of carelessness would mean instant death. Jaeon Myung-hoon looks down at Hong Fan and begins to manipulate the heavenly tribulation. The heavenly tribulation infused with the nurtured auras of each of us. Kururururung. The 6-colored heavenly tribulation starts to descend. Wing. Meanwhile, the prophetic stars which I, Jaeon Myung-hoon, and Golden Shaking Bird prepared during Hong Fan's advancement preparation, rise into the sky. 7 stars in total. Within them are scenes of Hong Fan and is succeeding. Kurururung. Hong Fan reads the flow of the heavenly tribulation, tracing its source with the senses of the Earth tribe. I read alongside him, following the flow of the heavenly tribulation. At the same time, the prophetic stars resonate with our senses, guiding us toward success. Red lightning heavenly tribulation. Kururururung. Jaeon Myung-hoon also supports us through immortal arts. Indra's net. Kwakijijik. Jaeon Myung-hoon's lightning spreads like a net across the surroundings. Lightning has a property known as returning lightning strike. It refers to the phenomenon of heavenly tribulation that strikes the ground from the sky returning back to the sky. Jaeon Myung-hoon's Indra's net is one of the techniques that utilize this property of lightning. Pachijijik. The heavenly tribulation of the red lightning heavenly tribulation method, now within the domain of immortal arts, carries the history reading ability of Hong Fan and I and the returning lightning ability of Indra's net, splitting into 6 fragments. Kwajijik. Of the 6 fragments striking Hong Fan, one returns to my body, and another is reabsorbed into Jaeon Myung-hoon's body. The remaining 4 heavenly tribulations scatter, flying towards the locations of our other comrades. Golden Shaking Bird assists in controlling the lightning, and my mind briefly unites with Hong Fan's, reaching out to the other heavenly domains where our comrades reside. The Good Sight heavenly domain, where Kim Young-hoon is. The Underworld, where Kong Min-hee is. The Elephant Nose heavenly domain, where Oh Yun-sok is. The Earth Boundary heavenly domain, where Kim Yeon is. The Earth Axis heavenly domain, where Oh Hai-seo is. Single quote. I observe the status of our 5 comrades with Hong Fan. Kim Young-hoon senses my gaze and responds with a faint smile, slicing through it with martial arts that has reached the severing heaven realm. As if to say, come at me. Oh Yun-sok wanders through a misty haze. He seems to have reached true immortality, growing stronger as he navigates through the fog. Kim Yeon, like Oh Yun-sok, walks an endless labyrinth. However, unlike the misty world, hers is quite literally a maze resembling the extreme of mechanical constructs. It seems she's dismantling each mechanism, growing stronger with every step. But I can't help but be astonished by the scenes of 2 individuals that I simply cannot comprehend. Kong Min-hee. Kong Min-hee. For some reason, she is kneeling before the illusion of the oldest one's white wheel, drawing something. It's a Tangwa. For reasons unknown, she seems to be receiving teachings of the Tangwa under the oldest one in some dark place. Noticing my gaze, she meets my eyes, silently mouthing, "Don't worry," before flicking her sleeve to block my view. Upper Immortal. Kong Min-hee has already reached at least the realm of an Upper Immortal. If that weren't the case, she wouldn't be able to block my vision so completely. I see. The reason that person transformed into Kong Min-hee before me in the past life was. It must be because they already placed her beneath them and were teaching her. But to say it's the underworld. Something feels different. I narrow my eyes, sensing something strange. The place where Kong Min-hee is feels like the underworld, but at the same time, it feels like another domain altogether. It's as if it's a place connected directly to the deepest depths where the heavenly venerable of the underworld resides. It seems linked to the underworld, yet it doesn't feel like the complete underworld. Perhaps it's a special space within the twin holding heavenly domain. Deciding to leave it at that for now, I shift my gaze seriously to the final scene. Quote. It's been a while, Oh Hai-seo. I glare at the illusion of Oh Hai-seo, someone whose whereabouts I never even thought to check. Oh Hai-seo smiles slightly. It's been a long time, Seo Eun-yun. Quote. You've changed a lot. I flinch in surprise at her appearance. She has changed greatly since the past. Her entire body is draped in a dark red robe, her hair loose and wild, with dark red eyes gleaming as she grins slyly, making her look like a witch. Even though she wears a robe, patches of her skin are exposed in a provocative fashion. Reclining seductively, she pokes at something beside her with a finger, then licks it with her tongue. Her sticky saliva stretches between her fingers. Though it's a simple scene, the scent of blood it evokes makes me glare at her. What are you eating, Oh Hai-seo? Are you stuffing yourself with human flesh again like in cedarwood painting? You better stop, before I come and carve out your belly. Ah, don't worry, Eun-yun. I'm not randomly killing people for food. Look, it's not even a human skull. She lifts the skull of whatever she's been eating to show me. It looks human but has horns, someone's skull. She's slurping out the brain from that skull. Just like humans slaughter cows, pigs, and chickens to eat. I'm just eating a devil from the Earth Axis heavenly domain. I've got to eat to live, you know. Quote. So you've stepped foot into the immortal family. I glare at her, deducing her cultivation realm. You've reached the entering nirvana stage, and yet you still need to eat things like that. Poo-hoo-hoo-hoo, Eun-yun. Do you know? Oh Hai-seo pulls out a lump of bloody flesh from the skull and starts shoving it into her mouth. Me, you see, My chest hurts so much. She starts to cry, her robe slipping and revealing just enough to tempt. As I look deep into her eyes, I realize. She's broken, ever since I inherited tainted soul filling the heavens from Coal. My chest has been hurting so much, you know. I don't know why it hurts so much, why it's so agonizing. It used to be so simple and easy. Back then, I just had one simple, clear desire, dominate and make them my slaves. That was it, but now, it's gotten strange. What Coal entrusted to me, because of that. I feel like I'm going insane. Drip, drip, drip. Blood tears begin to flow from Ohaiseo's eyes. After being dragged to the Earth Axis heavenly domain, I met a great being. The great and honorable Red Summit Great Mountain Life Phenomena Extinguishing Great Emperor Tong Yu Tai Shantian Chi Da Sheng Mie Fa Da Di bestowed teachings upon me. I even died while receiving their teachings. Who else could say they've experienced such a thing? Already 100 times. I've died a total of 100 times, suffering every kind of pain and torture imaginable. But you know, she claws roughly at her own chest, gritting her teeth. More than all that pain, the ache I feel inside this chest is even stronger. I don't know why. Usually, when I don't understand something, Coal would come and teach me, but he doesn't this time. It's probably because he doesn't have a body anymore. That's why I'm going to make a body for Coal. I'm going to resurrect him. And then, I'll share this pain with him. You understand, but until then, I have to pass this pain on to others. Quaduduk, Quaduk, Quaduk. From within the skull of the devil clenched in Ohaiseo's hand, a terrible scream echoes. The devil seems to still be alive. The pain slightly eases. That's why I'm eating things like this, Unyana. She reaches her hand out towards me. The Red Summit Great Mountain Life Phenomena Extinguishing Great Emperor told me to bring you to the Earth Axis Heavenly Domain and feed you the Corpse Mountain Blood Sea Shishan Shui Hai there. They said they left some of it just for you. So come and eat it. If you eat this, they will create a body for Coal. They said they will bring Coal back to life. Your realm will rise, and Coal will be resurrected and I'll be able to share this pain again and ask him what to do. We'll both benefit. Right, So come, Co Unyan. I've received their teachings and got a grasp regarding the devilish Mo path. My cultivation is entering nirvana, but within the Earth Axis heavenly domain, near the Corpse Mountain Blood Sea, I can crush upper immortals like you can. It's limited power, but overwhelming. Just borrowing this power makes me this strong. If you inherit it properly, you'll be even more incredible. So, come here. With my ability, I can bring you over right now. Ohaiseo. I gaze at where Ohaiseo is. She's leaning against something massive. Only now do I realize. It's a massive bone, the corpse of a large sea dragon. Coal is. Looking at that sea dragon's corpse, I understand. There's no soul there, and having faced tainted soul filling the heavens dozens, even hundreds of times, I can tell. Coal's configuration doesn't exist there. Coal is already deep within the underworld, paying for his sins at the very bottom of hell. Maybe he's already been reincarnated as some lowly beast and is being slaughtered. Already dead. He's not there. At my words, Ohaiseo freezes. It's been a while since I've seen eyes like that. The eyes of Mad Lord and Jaeon Myung-hoon. And my own eyes, back when I lost Buk Hyung-hwa in the 10th cycle. Seo Eun-yun. Ohaiseo smiles. You're stupid, aren't you? I'm not stupid. No, you are stupid. Or maybe you've become blind in exchange for your strength. Look, here, Coal is right here. Coal is with me right now. Listen carefully, Ohaiseo. Regardless of what happened, I'll tell you this, for your sake. I relay the truth to her with a stern face. Coal is dead. That day, after sending you to the middle realm, he died. Let Coal go. What's by your side? Shut you is nothing but Coal's corpse. Shut up, Seo Eun-yun. You are reptilian bastard. That habit of lying while wearing a human mask is showing again, huh? Don't make me laugh. Coal is here, here, I tell you. That's nothing but Coal's bones. Shut you. I'll kill you. I'll resurrect Coal, and together with him, I'll find you and flay that filthy body of yours. They said it's fine to fight you. They said as long as you merge with the corpse mountain blood sea, it doesn't matter. They even said killing you and burying you in the corpse mountain blood sea is acceptable. Listen well, Seo Unyun. Kijijijijik. The surroundings begin to distort. Taiji twists, and history trembles. I've experienced 100 deaths. And through those deaths, my power has grown unimaginably. To a level someone like you could never comprehend. Someone like you, who cherishes life, maybe experienced death once while advancing to true immortality. Ha ha ha, you can't defeat me, because the power of Ascenders reaches its peak when we experience death. Quote. Listen well, this is my true authority. Truth manipulation. Exclamation mark. This crazy bitch. Seeing her reveal her ability out loud, I hurriedly summon the wheel. I rewrite. For an instant, I feel it. The power of the wheel and Ohai Seo's authority, truth manipulation, collide. As the past rewrites itself, the fact that she spoke those words is erased, and I am suddenly thrust into a world drenched in blood by some bizarre authority. Reading the truth, flipping the truth inside out, and as I please. Watching Ohai Seo flaunt her ability after pulling me into this alternate space, I let out a small sigh. Filling the heavens governing view. Shah, a hazy mist spreads, covering the blood-colored sea. Ohai Seo's pointless explanation is cut off mid-sentence, failing to deliver. Ahahaha, it's this again, Seo Unyun. Yeah, I still remember. You cornered Seo Wayol with this filling the heavens governing view. But do you hear that? Seo Wayol is whispering to me. He's telling me that this time, he won't lose. I squint as I watch Ohai Seo draw power from the blood-colored sea. From that sea, I sense the power of an all-too-familiar being. It's a portion of my senior brother's authority. The Great Mountain Supreme Deity, GWAKM. It belongs to my senior brother. Clicking my tongue, I look at Ohai Seo. Because she claims Seo Wayol is whispering to her, I glanced again just in case, but, as expected. Even with my true immortal eyes, there's no sign of Seo Wayol. No spirit, no configuration. All that exists is Ohai Seo herself, having inherited a part of Seo Wayol's heart that resided in the deepest depths of tainted soul filling the heavens. She is simply rambling to herself, practicing repentant enlightenment under the influence of the Great Mountain Supreme Deity, and reflecting on Seo Wayol's heart within her own heart. If I were to put it in Earth's terms, how ironic. Ohai Seo, who carries Seo Wayol's heart, has become exactly like the Mad Lord he despised. It's part of the blood sea of the Red Summit Great Mountain Life Phenomena extinguishing Great Emperor. In here, I am equal to an upper immortal. I've always wondered. I cut off Ohai Seo's rambling, summoning my true body into this strange space. Do. Glaring at her from the center of the glass true fire's candle flame, I draw forth the three great ultimates and smirk. If you keep hitting the Mad Lord, would even he return to sanity? In front of someone far stronger, someone of a vastly higher rank, wouldn't even their rage be controllable? That kind of thought. Though the Mad Lord faced Jangik once before, honestly, I don't consider that a proper encounter. I guess I'll test it with you. Heaven, earth, heart, and we'll merge. At the same time, my true body, having reached the realm of a true immortal, hums and resonates. Ohai Seo laughs as she stares at me. Don't be ridiculous, Seo Unyun. You think you're stronger than us. In this blood sea, against me and Seo Wayol, you'll never win. Flash. The light of glass peacock erupts from Ohai Seo. At the same time, I charge straight through the light and slam my fist into Ohai Seo's face. Huh, quagwagwagwong. Her head explodes instantly, and cracks spread like a spider web across this blood sea space. Chi, regenerating within the blood sea, Ohai Seo detonates the glass peacock's light again like flash bombs. What? Why isn't the power of the glass peacock? Quirurururung. Ignoring the light once more, I leap at her and chop down with my hand blade. Jajang. The blood sea shatters again, and she screams. Why isn't it working? Why isn't it working? Ohai Seo pulls out the space labyrinth divine power of Azure Pung, but I completely break through it in a single breath and grab her shoulders. You don't know a damn thing about addiction. You think that just wielding power that toys with the truth can make you Glass Peacock themself. Azure Pung themself. This can't be happening. This can't be happening. Glass Peacock's power is invincible. The Glass Avidya advancement light has always been the strong. Quang. I slam my hand blade down on Ohai Seo's face, splitting her in half. Though she revives within the blood sea, every time I exert my strength, the entire space crumbles further. Perhaps because it's a place that's half similar to the true immortal plane, even the Northern Dipper ceiling immortal flag doesn't function. Unleashing my full power, I smirk, flying at her once more and crushing her shoulder in my grip. Keep flaunting that so-called strongest. From now on, this immortal. Still holding her shoulder, I raise my hand blade again. Will heal you, Jaejeong. Once again, Ohaiseo is split in half and killed. So, be grateful. 574. Kwang, kwang. The explosion shakes the surroundings. With each of my strikes, the nearby space shatters, and Ohaiseo's body bursts apart. From the very start, wrapped in glass true fire, I charge toward Ohaiseo and clamp her mouth shut. Flash, white wings bloom from her back. At the same time, a pure white heavenly Pegasus Tianma manifests behind her. It is muscle, with a horse's head above the neck and the body of a winged human Yi Ren below. The being clasps its hands together like a Dharma statue before launching a fist at me. A fist. Watching that pure white fist, I feel time compress. The world slows, leaving only the fist targeting me within it. Even though Ohaiseo has reached the entering nirvana stage, that punch and my reaction speed seem too much for her to follow, as she barely manages to track it with her eyes. Kwang, power. Not any immortal art, authority, rewrite, or prophecy, just pure, concentrated power, flies at me. Jaejeong. And that concentrated force explodes within the blood sea. Chi. By the authority of order, the blood sea I had split apart restores itself. Kugugugu. The phantom of the white-winged heavenly Pegasus summoned by Ohaiseo glares at me before charging in an instant, swinging its fist. The heavenly Pegasus's fist aims for my cheek. I lower my waist, to evade and strike at its ribs with a hand blade. The heavenly Pegasus spins in place and swings its wings to smash me upward above the blood sea. Pong. Kicking off the blood sea's surface, the heavenly Pegasus soars toward me, extending both legs straight out. Maintaining that form, it slams its legs down at me. Sound disappears. The two legs of the heavenly Pegasus drive into my stomach, triggering an explosion. Within the explosion's range, all sound vanishes, and the entire order of the blood sea begins to rearrange itself for the heavenly Pegasus. I laugh. I like this. Releasing my will, I reach out toward the phantom of the heavenly Pegasus. My hand blade collides with its fist. Bruises form on my hand, while its fist is sliced away. It retaliates with a knee strike. I shift my upper body, trapping its knee in my armpit, then stab its solar plexus. A single thrust. With that one thrust, a hole is pierced through the heavenly Pegasus's solar plexus. Even with a gaping hole in its chest, it continues our battle with an unrestrained smile. Its back kick shatters my jaw. My hand blade severs its left hand. Our exchange grows fiercer. Kugugugugugu. But the end is approaching. From behind, Ohaiseo barely keeps up with our exchange, overlaying her form with the illusion of Supreme Tiger, while summoning another immortal beast's illusion within both hands. Quack. I grab the heavenly Pegasus's shoulder with my right hand. The heavenly Pegasus also grabs my shoulder with its right hand and grins. With all our strength, we slam our heads against each other. Another explosion erupts. Blood pours from my 7 orifices, while the heavenly Pegasus's entire head flies off, its upper body sliced apart. Chi. Grinning, I watch the heavenly Pegasus's illusion scatter. Good. The authority of the white-winged heavenly Pegasus is order. Through that order, it nullifies supernatural authority and immortal arts, forcing battle with nothing but pure flesh, a true member of the close combat faction. I'd like to meet you properly someday. And then, as if my words had reached it, as the Pegasus's illusion dissipates, a voice echoes in my mind. Interesting fellow. Let's play again sometime. Wing. I flinch in surprise. That just now was the heart language of the heart tribe. And the realm of the heavenly Pegasus that could be judged by the resonance of that heart language is Severing Heaven realm. It is the realm of Severing Heaven. For a brief moment, I stand there in a daze before offering a short bow in the direction where the white-winged heavenly Pegasus's illusion disappeared, as a gesture of respect from a junior to a senior. Kugwagwagwagwang. At that moment, Ohaiseo seizes the opening and unleashes her divine power toward my back. But I simply turn around slowly, letting the dragon wave she fires from both hands strike my bare body. Die, Seo Unyun. The phantom of Supreme Tiger overlays her body. The phantom of Black Dragon surges within her hands. She brings her hands together, aiming at me as if emitting energy. Her hands have transformed to resemble the maw of Black Dragon as it breathes a dragon wave at me. Is this all? Thud, thud. I take one step forward, then another. Is this really the dragon wave of the immortal beast Black Dagon? Do better. The strongest technique of dragons is normally the dragon wave, and yet, there's no way something like this is Black Dragon's ultimate move. Don't come closer. Thud, thud, thud. If you've reached the entering nirvana stage, if you've faced death countless times, by now, shouldn't you not just be borrowing the power of an immortal beast but drawing out the very power itself? Thud 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 thud. I start running, charging straight through the dragon wave of Black Dragon, through the beam fired by Ohaisio, I rush towards her. You dare call this the power of an immortal beast? Pete, a single leap. In an instant, the distance between us vanishes. Quaduke, my hand grips her shoulder. I wring out all of my spiritual energy, all the energy within my immortal body. Then, using the elasticity of my immortal body, I swing a hand blade towards her face. Jajang. An explosion erupts, and Ohaiseo's brain bursts apart. The very woman who had been licking the brains of devils just moments ago now has her own brain scattered, dancing in the air. The Blood Sea, which had briefly recovered due to the power of white-winged heavenly Pegasus, begins to break apart again. Ohaisio borrows the authority of the Blood Sea to regenerate her body. Get a hold of yourself, Ohaisio. Sio Whale is gone, I shout in a firm tone. Shut you. Ohaisio regenerates her body again while screaming. Sio Whale is alive, he's right Quagwong. Once again, she fails to finish her sentence as her upper body is torn apart. 3 strikes left. I glance at the space of the Blood Sea, struggling to withstand the impact, and draw forth even more power. Open your eyes and look around. And no, don't be ridiculous, as if I'd listen to you. Sio Whale is right here. Sio Whale is gone. I kick Ohaiseo's jaw, blasting apart her upper body once more. 2 strikes left. Then, I fly straight towards the spot where her lower body remains and grab her ankle. She regenerates her body from the lower half upward, summoning and merging the authorities of mountain-destroying demon ape and white-winged heavenly Pegasus in both hands. The jade of yin-yang and 5 elements engulfs me. It seems she learned this from the great mountain supreme deity as well. That person has granted us power. Take this, Sio Unyun. Keying, my body begins to assimilate with the jade of yin-yang and 5 elements. But with cold eyes, I tighten my grip on Ohaiseo's ankle. Great mountain, pot, Kwang, light engulfs me, but I hold onto Ohaisio and slam her into the Blood Sea. The entire space containing the Blood Sea warps, fractures spreading through it. 1 strike left. With just one more attack, this Blood Sea will collapse. Keying, my body, which was beginning to break apart under the effects of the Great Mountain Splitting Emperor technique, is held together with the Phenomena Extinguishing mantra, nullifying her technique. Ohaisio appears dazed, her breath ragged as she struggles to regenerate her body. So, you've learned the Great Mountain Splitting Emperor technique. For you to have mastered a technique incorporating over 80% of the Phenomena Extinguishing mantra's formula, it means Senior Brother has taken a liking to you. You are Senior Brother's disciple. Kugugugek. I grasp her regenerating face with one hand, lifting her body as I speak. Listen well to your martial uncle, martial niece. Sio Whale is dead. What you are seeing is nothing more than a lingering remnant of the past. I tell her the truth with a bitter tone. Sio Whale's heart remains with her without a doubt. But what Sio Whale truly wished for was for her to survive safely. Surely, he never wanted Ohaisio to become someone who desperately searches for him in vain like an insane mad lord. How could anyone look at the current Ohaisio and call her safe? Sio Whale wouldn't have wanted you to suffer like this either. Get a hold of yourself. For your sake, and for Sio Whale's. From the moment I realized that Ohaisio had received strength and guidance from the Great Mountain Supreme Deity, I could no longer completely hate her. Because, in the end, she has become my martial niece. Drip, drip, from Ohaiseo's face, gripped within my hand, something warm drips down. She is crying. Don't be ridiculous. You don't get to decide that on your own. Exclamation mark. Her body trembles, and I flinch at the power of the Blood Sea resonating with her. This is dangerous. The Blood Sea, which Ohaisio had never properly drawn upon before, is now revealing its overwhelming force. Ohaiseo's madness is resonating with the power deep inside the Blood Sea. Pain and resentment, screams, these are drawing forth the power of the Blood Sea. Ohaisio, you don't speak as if you understand. In the end, you don't know the truth either. What do you even know? If I don't do this, then what the hell am I supposed to do? Tell me, what do you expect me to do? Just what reason do I have to keep living? Answer me, Seo Eun-yun. Why are you still alive right now? Why are you alive at all? Kugugugugu. Powerful resentment. That power surges over us. The blood sea rises in waves, swallowing both me and Ohai Seo. Jaejeong. But I slam Ohai Seo's head down, completely shattering the world of the blood sea. This place is. I realize where I am. A rift in history. Somewhere within the river of Taiji, Ohai Seo had momentarily shoved in the power of the blood sea to create this subspace. I see. Ohai Seo must have pulled my spirit into her domain while I was reading history through the Earth Tribe senses. As I prepare to return to reality, I search for Ohai Seo within the depths of the Source River. I intend to take her with me. But suddenly, I see an illusion before my eyes. A mortal beast. Mountain-destroying demon ape. Kugugugugu. It is a massive mountain. And I have seen this mountain before. My pupils contract sharply. A mountain of countless corpses pressing down upon the universe, a tyrannical mountain of darkness. The very mountain which the great mountain supreme deity once sat appears behind Ohai Seo as an illusion, looming like a great folding screen supporting her back. The fragments of the shattered blood sea world are absorbed into that illusion, allowing the presence of the mountain of darkness to manifest in this world. You don't know either, Seo Eun-yun, why you live. Why others live, what it even means to be alive. What life even is. Ohai Seo, now fully regenerated, sheds dark red tears as she meets my gaze. Don't speak so carelessly when you know nothing. Jijik. The great mountain supreme deity's authority activates. Under normal circumstances, Ohai Seo wouldn't even be allowed to draw upon such power, yet I can feel that the great mountain supreme deity is permitting it because I am the opponent. Wing. Dark red streaks of light flash. And the illusion of the mountain that Ohai Seo has summoned. In front of it, the jade of yin-yang and 5 elements coalesces, beginning to emit attraction force. Phenomena extinguishing mantra. I realize that the phenomena extinguishing mantra is targeting me. The attraction force that compresses an entire universe into a single point is focused solely on me. Senior brother, do you truly wish to merge that mountain and me into one? The corpse mountain blood sea that Ohai Seo spoke of. The great mountain supreme deity seems to truly want to fuse me with that corpse mountain blood sea. Even descending a portion of their will to use the phenomena extinguishing mantra. I must escape. I cannot take Ohai Seo with me right now. I have to wait for another opportunity. Keying. I prepare a technique that is essentially the reverse arrangement of the phenomena extinguishing mantra. I ready the Great Mountain Splitting Emperor technique. For now, I run. Great Mountain. Do. Before my eyes, the same jade of yin-yang and 5 elements gathers. Splitting Emperor. Kwang. I detonate the jade, using the resulting repulsive force to partially escape the attraction force of the phenomena extinguishing mantra. Since both share the same root mantra, the nullification effect is quite strong. But that is all. It's still pulling me in. Gritting my teeth, I prepare the Great Mountain Splitting Emperor technique once more. Can I escape with the Great Mountain Splitting Emperor technique? No, I can't escape. I instinctively know, I cannot escape this. At most, I can slightly weaken its effect, but just barely. The words of Great King Qin Guang, was this what they meant? That as long as the seed of repentant enlightenment is seized, it is absolutely impossible to win in a battle of interpretation. It is exactly as they said. From within that phenomena extinguishing mantra, I feel enlightenment that I could not sense before. When my cultivation was lower, I was unaware. But now, having reached a higher realm, I can tell. The gap between their enlightenment and mine is something that can never be bridged. Even with pure enlightenment in repentant enlightenment, I'm still far behind. I realize, quite literally, that the great mountain supreme deity is trying to merge me with this corpse mountain blood sea to share their enlightenment with me. Surprisingly, though their method is oppressive, there is no malice in it. Insane. The great mountain supreme deity, in their own way, is genuinely, purely trying to pass on their enlightenment to me. However, as I look at the corpses shedding blood tears within the corpse mountain blood sea, I cry out. Senior brother, are you watching? The great mountain supreme deity is not present here. That corpse mountain blood sea is merely a remnant of the power they left behind, it is neither their clone nor projection. Only a faint trace of their will resides within it. Yet, for some reason, I feel as if the great mountain supreme deity is listening, so I speak towards them. I have my own enlightenment. I will walk the immortal Tao under you, senior brother, but... Wing. A pure white light begins to gather in my hand. That does not mean I accept your way. That light is the glow of a hazy mist. I have my own path. Do not force your way upon one who rejects it. Flash. The light gathered in my hand bursts forth right before my eyes. And within it, a certain scene unfolds. This scene is one that only I can see. The scene within the canvas of myriad forms and connections is the moment when Glass Peacock pressed her lips against my cheek. The trace that Glass Peacock left on my spirit in my past life. That trace frantically scatters light, radiating an attraction force towards a familiar presence. My Tao is the cause and connection of all phenomena, Wan Zhuang Yin Yuan. From afar, going against the current of history, a massive peacock enveloped in pure white light begins to soar toward me. This is the interpretation of repentant enlightenment that I have chosen. I will not accept your way, senior brother. In an instant, Kugwagwagwagwang, Glass Peacock, soaring against history, crashes directly into the Corpse Mountain Blood Sea. An enormous explosion erupts from Glass Peacock, shattering the core of the phenomena, extinguishing mantra spreading from the Corpse Mountain Blood Sea. Then, Glass Peacock's frenzied voice echoes across the entire river of history. Where are you? Where? 10 million years. Where is my lover worth 10 million years? Shiver. I awkwardly laugh, knowing exactly what Glass Peacock means by worth 10 million years. It seems the mark Glass Peacock left on my cheek in my past life was exactly that kind of mark. Coo-goo-goo-goo-goo. From deep within the Corpse Mountain Blood Sea, a fierce arm bursts forth and grabs hold of Glass Peacock's body. As expected, it's not just a fragment of their will, but a part of their split soul that they left behind. The great mountain supreme deity has heard my entire declaration. Why you, is it you, mountain-destroying demon ape? UHUT. Fine, being seized by your rough hands and being utterly violated felt amazing too. If it's you, I could go for 10 million years. But no, the one I carved this mark that I must absolutely taste was not you, mountain-destroying demon ape. The split soul of the great mountain supreme deity. Glass Peacock, caught in its grasp, rolls her eyes back and looks at me in Ohio. Then, our eyes meet. So it's you. Wait for me, I will definitely. Kwajijijijik. The powerful hand of the great mountain supreme deity clenches tightly, crushing Glass Peacock into a small clump resembling a rice cake in its palm. But perhaps because they only left behind a mere remnant of their power. It seems to be unable to completely subdue the body of Glass Peacock, who is at the great net immortal level, and is using all its strength just to hold onto her. Geeing. At that moment, I sense someone has intruded into my colorless sword enclosure. It is a hulking figure, wrapped head to toe in bandages and draped in a tattered robe, sitting leisurely within my colorless sword enclosure as if it were their own. I quickly form an incarnation within the colorless sword enclosure and bow before the figure. It has been a long time, senior brother. Kwong. But they immediately swing their bandage-wrapped foot, kicking my head and slamming me into a mountain within the colorless sword enclosure. Who is your senior brother? Do not run your mouth carelessly. Are you getting revenge because junior brother had beaten marital niece too much? Hoo-hut. As I dust myself off, I shudder slightly at the sight of GWAKM, whom I haven't seen in a long time. Unlike before, GWAKM now wears a yellow mask. And for some reason, looking at that masked figure, someone comes to mind. That appearance, you do not need to know. They coldly cut off my words and glare at me. I prophesize this. One day, you will regret rejecting the Corpse Mountain Blood Sea I left behind today, and shed tears of blood. That is all. With those words, GWAKM, wearing the yellow mask, vanishes from my colorless sword enclosure. But I laugh. Though they called it a prophecy, they were merely words, lacking any attraction force of a true prophecy. Then, Seo Un-yun, Koo-goo-goo-goo-goo. From the far reaches of the Source River, Golden Shaking Bird and Jaeon Myung-hoon have entered, holding Yohee. It seems they came to rescue me after I was suddenly pulled into Ohio-seo's alternate space. Pot. The two lightning path immortals swiftly fly in and grab my hands. Koo-goo-goo-goo-goo. For a brief moment, GWAKM's attraction force holds me in place, but I grip my friend's hands tightly and break free from their attraction force. The Corpse Mountain Blood Sea of the Great Mountain Supreme Deity no longer pursues me. That is because it is using all its strength to restrain Glass Peacock, who is struggling wildly to pounce and violate me. Relaxing my body, I sincerely offer my thanks to my long unseen senior brother. Thank you, senior brother. Thus, with the strength of my connections, I escape the repentant enlightenment of the great mountain supreme deity and look back at them. Golden shaking bird, seeing that mountain-destroying demon ape and glass peacock are fighting, hurriedly insists that we must leave the bearing tree heavenly domain and quickly departs the source river. Quote. Let's go. Recalling the moment right before I met Ohai Seo, I speak to Jaeon Myonghoon and Golden Shaking Bird. To the good sight heavenly domain. Ohai Seo and the great mountain supreme deity. That brief yet intense encounter with the two of them comes to a close as we flee towards another heavenly domain. Chapter 575, Radiance 10 Heavens Guangming Shi Tian 4. Yoo. We ride Yohi, soaring through the distant heavenly domain. Where is the exit of the bearing tree heavenly domain, Yohi? Yohi is one of the disciples of the Northern Dipper's 7 heavenly lords, who are in turn disciples of the heavenly venerable of time. Because of this, she possesses extensive knowledge regarding the structure of the star veins stemming from the flow of time that is the source river. In an instant, Yohi locates the entrance and exit of the bearing tree heavenly domain through the star vein eye and flies toward it. True persons are undoubtedly strong. Through the star veins, they can fold and traverse tens, hundreds of millions of light years. However, that only applies to the heavenly domain where they have advanced to the star-shattering stage. If it is an unfamiliar heavenly domain where not a single star vein is connected to them, then they are no longer able to recklessly leap across hundreds of millions of light years as before. Because of this, Yohi borrows the authority of Golden Shaking Bird, Jaeon Myonghoon, and me to leap across hundreds of millions of light years. By the way, the bearing tree heavenly domain seems larger than the sun and moon heavenly domain. Just from how it feels. In the sun and moon heavenly domain, flying for a few 100 million light years is enough to reach the desired location. However, in the bearing tree heavenly domain, even after flying for billions of light years, it still feels difficult to reach one's destination. At my words, Golden Shaking Bird shrugs and explains. That's because, Elder, the sun and moon heavenly domain is the smallest and narrowest of all the heavenly domains. Is that so? Yes. They say that heavenly domains continuously expand at the speed of light, but that's actually incorrect. Only the heavenly domains under the direct jurisdiction of Radiance Hall expand at the speed of light. Oh, then are there universes that expand faster than light? At my question, Jaeon Myonghoon scoffs. The universe originally expanded faster than light. Didn't you know that? Quote. I was a humanities major. But why do you know? You were a humanities major too. I diligently built up my general knowledge even during work hours. Quote. Why on earth were you building up general knowledge during work hours? I clutch my head as it throbs from the conversation, and decide to continue listening to Golden Shaking Bird. The heavenly domains under the direct jurisdiction of Radiance Hall do not expand at a speed exceeding the speed of light. The sun and moon heavenly domain, being one of those, has a relatively slow expansion rate. However, even putting that aside, the sun and moon heavenly domain is said to be significantly smaller than the other heavenly domains under Radiance Hall's jurisdiction. And what's the reason for that? My master in the past said, once you reach upper immortal, you will naturally understand. I do not know either. Regardless, all other heavenly domains are far larger than the sun and moon heavenly domain. Now that I think about it, isn't the bearing tree heavenly domain also under the direct jurisdiction of Radiance Hall? Then shouldn't it be similar to the sun and moon heavenly domain? I suppose that's precisely why my previous master said that one will come to understand upon becoming an upper immortal. It seems there is some deeper reason as to why sun and moon heavenly domain is so small. For now, I simply nod and continue lending my power to Yohi, leaping across thousands of light years as we make our way out of the bearing tree heavenly domain. Like that, 2 years pass. Yoo. After 2 years of flying with Yohi, continuously leaping across thousands of light years, we finally arrive at the exit of the bearing tree heavenly domain. Wu Wang, the origin of all star veins. The birthplace of the universe. Of course, in the plane of Qi, there is no such thing as the universe's birthplace, but as one rises to the planes of soul and fate, that birthplace becomes somewhat visible. And the location corresponding to the universe's birthplace in the plane of fate is precisely where we have arrived. Ku, quote. Exclamation mark quote. And then, I flinch upon seeing something stationed there. What is that? Well, as you probably know. Golden Shaking Bird gives an awkward laugh and explains. This place is under the direct jurisdiction of Radiance Hall. The heavenly domains directly governed by Radiance Hall always have something like that. Our sun and moon heavenly domain didn't have one because my master in his previous life smashed it apart and shoved in the lightning sacred sea instead. Haha. Quote. Indeed. At the starting point of the bearing tree heavenly domain, at the entrance to this world, a massive formation diagram in the shape of a black snake biting its tail floats in the void. It's a teleportation formation. Even after leaving a heavenly domain, one must pass through a dimension called a sea, which is assigned to each heavenly domain. It's usually referred to as the inner sea. Crossing this dimension is extremely arduous and time-consuming. Since the three of us are all vestige liberation immortals, if we pool our strength, we should be able to reach the next heavenly domain in about 70,000 years. 70,000 years. I click my tongue at the absurd number and speak. Don't talk nonsense. That's way too long. Yang Su Jin's great desolate path just seemed to zip through anywhere in an instant. Well, that's because the Great Desolate Path is an immortal treasure the Liberation Supreme Deity was forced to create back when they were an immortal lord. It is a rare artifact. In any case, for those impatient like you, Elder, the rulers of each heavenly domain install these formations at their domain's entrance and exit. All heavenly domains except for the Earth Axis heavenly domain and the Sun and Moon heavenly domain have them. Golden shaking bird points to the formation diagram in the shape of the black snake biting its tail. It's a teleportation formation that allows one to reach another heavenly domain in just 2 or 3 days. We won't be able to use it. Judging by Gyun Ai's reaction in the previous life, there's likely a bounty on all enders. The moment Jaeon Myung-hoon and I step into that place, the true immortals under Radiance Hall's command will go berserk and chase us down. Yeah, probably. Master in his previous life also never used Radiance Hall's teleportation formations. Right, then what should we do? As I contemplate, Hong Fan, who resides within me, sends a voice transmission. Master, if it is necessary, how about this method? What method? My origin star, Darkness World, can somewhat evade the gaze of light. What? Is that really true? Yes, since it's a world created using some of my past life's knowledge, I am certain. It somewhat falls into the realm of immortal arts. Therefore, masters can temporarily conceal themselves in my integrated Dao domain, and I will go out and use the teleportation formation. From a concealment viewpoint, they would never imagine that exalted true immortals would hide inside the origin star of a star-shattering stage bug. We nod at Hong Fan's words. Well, it's not a bad idea, but are you sure we won't be caught? It is possible. As if to assure me, Hong Fan extracts his origin star from within me. Hong Fan's darkness world has already transformed into something akin to a black hole in the universe, absorbing all surrounding light. Certainly, perhaps because he has mixed in an immortal art he created using his past life's knowledge, ordinary light does not seem able to easily penetrate its depths. After a brief discussion, we nod to each other and decide to hide inside Hong Fan's body. By the way, since this teleportation formation belongs to Radiance Hall, do they not charge a toll? It is said true immortals and true persons pay the toll by bestowing fortune in favor of Radiance Hall. Meanwhile, those at the Sacred Vessel stage and below pay with their lifespan. Those at the Sacred Vessel stage must give up 1,000,000 years, while those at the Star-Shattering stage and below will lose at least 100,000 years. I click my tongue. Then those at the Integration stage would have to die just to travel to another heavenly domain. That is true, but why would an average Integration stage cultivator even try to cross into another heavenly domain? They are too busy struggling within their own middle realm as it is. Well then, sorry, Hong Fan, we'll have to sacrifice a bit of your lifespan. But don't worry, we will bestow you with more in the future. Since we have long since gained the ability to grant lifespan to mortal beings as we please, it is a promise we can easily keep. Goo. Thus, Jaeon Myung-hoon, Golden Shaking Bird, and the rest of us all enter Hong Fan's origin star. Goo. It's dark. The interior of Hong Fan's star is utterly dark. This is bad. Jaeon Myung-hoon mutters to himself with a serious expression in the darkness for some reason. What's wrong? Black hole. Hong Fan's origin star is one of the celestial bodies known as black hole, right? That's right. I can't remember what we called black hole on Earth. It seems that after living through a vast span of cosmic time, Jaeon Myung-hoon's memory has started to show signs of wear. I click my tongue and tell him. Wasn't it called a degenerate star? Was it? Yeah, I think that was it. It seems I will have to find a way to address Jaeon Myung-hoon's memory loss issue at some point. No, wait, Jaeon Myung-hoon isn't the problem here. After this much time, Kim Yeon and Kim Young-hoon, who have not advanced far in their immortal cultivation, could be in much greater danger. I decide to come up with a consciousness method for their sake while quietly waiting inside Hong Fan's body. How much time has passed? Wu Wang, Wo Wang, quote. Hong Fan. I sense that 100,000 years of Hong Fan's lifespan has just vanished. Hong Fan has paid his lifespan as the toll. Wo Wang. Having passed through Radiance Hall's teleportation formation, we continue to conceal our presence within Hong Fan's body for another day or two. Especially since I'm using Hidden Heavens Beyond the Path to completely erase the presence of Jaeon Myung-hoon, Golden Shaking Bird, and myself. Even if light is projected into Hong Fan's body, it will not easily find us. Wo Wang. And then, sometime later, Hong Fan's will reach us, and we emerge from deep within his origin star. Wu Wang. We emerge from Hong Fan's body and look around. This place is. Wo Wang. The very nature of the chi that composes the world feels different. I read the celestial energy, absorbing the information of this universe. Good Sight Heavenly Domain. That's right, this is the Good Sight Heavenly Domain. The place where Kim Young-hoon was last seen. Well then, shall we go find Kim Young-hoon? Wu Wang. With fire burning in my eyes flash with the gaze of heaven and earth. History and the future unfold clearly within my vision. At the true immortal realm, the consciousness domain is no longer an essential sensory tool. Rather, the sight of heaven and earth is far superior for perception. At the true immortal realm, consciousness is now nothing more than one of the many forces used to wield immortal arts. Wo Wang. As I read through history and the future, searching for Kim Young-hoon, I suddenly sensed something strange. What, just why, is it that even after tracing back 3,000 years, there's no history of anyone entering the Good Sight Heavenly Domain from outside? It's as if the records have been erased. Just as I begin to feel perplexed. Blink, quote. Golden Shaking Bird, Jaeon Myung-hoon, Yo-hee, and I all freeze in place. No one senses anything, no one perceives anything, within a unit of time in the void that surpasses even a fleeting moment. A girl with a ponytail, clad in black martial attire, appears among us like a ghost. Sirring, and in her left hand, she holds something. It is darkness. No, it is simply something that is not light. I cannot properly describe it. The only certainty is that I cannot properly perceive it. It is neither a sword nor a spear, neither a bow nor an arrow, neither a whip nor anything else. Yet, as I look at it, I feel as if an illusion of being impaled by that very thing and dying unfolds before my eyes. And within that instant that feels like an eternity, the ponytailed girl looks at me with hollow eyes and gives a terrifying smile. You came looking for that Kim Young-hoon guy. Her next words make me feel like I'm about to go crazy. He already died by my hand. Sorry to have made you come all this way for nothing. Chuck. As an apology, she takes a stance. That single movement alone makes me feel as if my entire being is crumbling. I shall dance with you as well. 576. Clang. Her gaze alone feels like it is slicing through my skin. Breathing is difficult. I know it too. Right now, the heavenly venerable of void, Hyeon Mu, is not even being serious. She is acting as if she came across a cute wild animal on the road and decided to give it a belly scratch. I can tell that saying she killed Kim Young-hoon is just a way to tease me. Of course, the statement that she killed him is the truth, but I can see that there is some kind of trap in her words meant to mock me. That is how openly and without reservation she is revealing her emotions and intent. As if someone like me is not even worth hiding them from. However, even knowing that, I feel like collapsing at her feet and vomiting right this moment. Even after reaching true immortality. No, rather, precisely because I have reached true immortality, I can see the disparity between she and I even more clearly. In terms of realm, she is exactly one step ahead of me. However, I realize that one step is an absolutely insurmountable, nauseatingly horrific gap, to the point that I want to kill myself. I do not want to do anything. I want to immediately run away somewhere or throw myself to the ground and beg for my life. But, I must do what must be done. I must protect those behind me. No matter how terrifying it is, no matter if my body refuses to move. That much, I must accomplish. With that single conviction, I push through Hyeon Mu's overwhelming pressure and extend my palm towards Golden Shaking Bird and Jaeon Myung-hoon, sending them flying across several light years. Then, I quickly pull Hong Fan and Yo-hee into my body and draw out the colorless glass sword. Warurururuk. The colorless glass sword, synchronized with glass true fire, flickers into existence in my hand, aimed at Hyeon Mu. Then immediately after, Wait, Hyeon Mu furrows her brows as she withdraws her momentum and weapon. Hyok, hyok, hyok. The moment Hyeon Mu retracts her presence, I finally exhale in a frenzy, sucking in spiritual energy. I just experienced death. Only now do I realize how precious this inhaled breath of spiritual energy is. Hyeon Mu's aura is so profound and terrifying that I even feel grateful to her for withdrawing it. I quickly steady my breathing and look at Hyeon Mu. She narrows her eyes, a hint of confusion in her expression. As if she has something to ask me. What is the meaning of this? Were you not trying to kill us? I intended to let you experience death. But you, just now, what exactly did you just take into your body? Pardon, I ask back in confusion. I pulled in Hong Fan and Yohee, but is there a problem? What do you mean? That immortal treasure of yours, which seems to be a descendant of Azure Pung, and something else. Did you not take them into your body? Yes, that is correct. They are my subordinates. Bring them back out. I steady my stance at Hyeon Mu's words and ask. Do you have business with my subordinate? If there is a reason, please state it. I failed to perceive it. At first, I thought it was simply because I had turned my attention away while focusing on you, but when you absorbed it into your body, I could tell. That thing was outside of my perception. I need to check again. I will be able to discern its identity if I see it directly, so bring it out before me. The Heavenly Venerable of the Void couldn't perceive Hong Fan. How could that be? A Heavenly Venerable failing to perceive an existence at the star-shattering stage. This is far too strange. I clearly sense something strange. And I read the intent that Hyeon Mu is not even trying to hide. She undoubtedly harbors killing intent. She intends to kill Hong Fan. You plan to kill my subordinate. If necessary. In that case, I cannot show you my subordinate's face so carelessly. No matter if you are a Heavenly Venerable, that one is my subordinate. At the same time, he is someone like my family, one whom I have cared for since the moment he emerged from his egg. Even if it is you. Facing Hyeon Mu's killing intent, I release my own in response, tightening my grip on the colorless glass sword. I cannot forgive anyone who lays a hand on my family. Hyeon Mu gazes at me in silence. That dreadful emptiness. Just seeing the emptiness in her eyes alone makes me feel as if my strength is being drained away. She continues to stare at me for a moment before raising one hand. I flinch and take a defensive stance, but she does not attack. However, I realize what she is doing. Zing. The taiji begins to rotate. She is reading the history of this place. If you do not wish to show me, then that is fine. I can simply see for myself. Let's see. If I follow the flow of chi backward and trace the events. I tense up even further at the sight of Hyeon Mu's actions and strengthen my guard. I cannot escape. I have seen her travel through the domain of purity before. An ultimate technique that surpasses my heavenly escape by several levels. If she uses that, no matter where I flee, I will never get away. So, if she finds Hong Fan displeasing, I must counterattack. That is the only way to extend both my life and Hong Fan's, even if just by a little. I prepare myself to unleash the phenomena extinguishing mantra, great mountain splitting emperor technique, or filling the heavens governing view at a moment's notice, raising my tension. Then, Sururuk. Hyeon Mu lowers her arm. The taiji that had been spinning vanishes into the void. She finished reading the history. I brace myself, expecting Hyeon Mu's next attack. But her following words are entirely unexpected. Interesting. It cannot be read. Exclamation mark question mark quote. I widen my eyes, unable to comprehend the situation. With empty eyes, Hyeon Mu gives a chilling smile. She starts to glare at me. It could not be seen. However, I clearly read the chi of that so-called subordinate of yours. That aura, that faint trace of history I felt from it. Hoo. Question mark quote. I grit my teeth as I watch her start to laugh. She begins to conceal her intent. I can no longer read her intent, but somehow, I feel like I know what it is. The true martial great Emperor Hyeon Mu, for some reason, is filled with rage right now. Hand over your subordinate, then I will revive the dead Kim Young-hoon immediately, grant you all a great enlightenment, and send you on your way unharmed. Bye, hand over, you mean. Leave it here and disappear. If I give you my subordinate, will you return him? I will decide that. Give me just one star-shattering stage, and I will bestow upon you an unparalleled blessing and grace. I am also well aware of the nature of you enders, so I will make every effort to ensure it does not bring misfortune upon you. So, hand it over to me right now. I glare at Hyeon Mu and answer. I refuse. He is my subordinate and my family. Absolutely not. Just like that time. Phenomena extinguishing mantra. Just like that time when I lost everything to the great mountain supreme deity. I will not easily hand my family over to another. Keying. A tremendous pain surges within my body. I prophesize. If the Northern Heavenly Venerable True Martial Great Emperor Hyeon Mu harms me, Hyeon Mu will face the Heavenly Venerable of the underworld and inevitably be obstructed by the judges. The power of a prophecy depends on how strong the probability of it coming true is. For example, the apple hanging from the tree falls to the ground is an overwhelmingly powerful prophecy. Because that apple is bound to fall eventually. The stronger its natural inevitability, the more powerful the prophecy becomes, reinforcing its absoluteness. Conversely, the apple hanging from the tree soars upwards is a prophecy whose inevitability approaches zero, making its absoluteness weak and causing it to consume an excessive amount of power. In other words, since it is only natural that the judges would aid the Heavenly Venerable of the underworld when Hyeon Mu confronts them, the absoluteness of my prophecy deepens. This will be troublesome for Hyeon Mu. No matter how strong she is, even she would find it difficult to battle the Heavenly Venerable of the underworld with all the judges gathered. She would need to fight one-on-one for any chance of victory. Thus, she would have to lure the underworld into a place where the judges are absent. But with my prophecy in place, such lures or traps would be exceedingly difficult to establish. However, I add one more thing to it. This is a prophecy I stake my life upon. Kuguguging. The pain sharpens further, turning into hooks that latch onto something fundamental within me. A true immortal's life-bound prophecy. And not just any prophecy, but one that reinforces the absoluteness of an already inevitable truth. I see Hyeon Mu's face contorting into that of an evil spirit. Starting from true immortality, even the lowest vestige liberation immortal can impose such a restriction upon a Heavenly Venerable by staking their life. That is why we are able to assert our rights even against celestial beings. With her face twisted in fury, Hyeon Mu speaks to me. Quote, You are a bold one. To stake upon yourself the very prophecy I would hate the most. Is that subordinate of yours truly so precious to you? I have already told you. He is my family. Quote, Family, you say. Ha ha ha. Very well. If that is your resolve, then I, too, shall tell you something. The Heavenly Venerable of Void, Hyeon Mu, points at me with a gloomy expression. More precisely, she points at Hong Fan within me. I could not read its existence. However, by reading its chi, I discovered something. A rather unamusing truth. What would that be? Disgust. Quote, Pardon, when I sensed its presence, I felt an unbearable disgust. A revulsion that surpassed the feeling of bugs crawling all over my body, a visceral nausea and disgust that made me want to vomit from deep within my chest. Hong Fan's presence caused such a feeling in Hyeon Mu. I feel puzzled and ask again. Are you trying to kill my subordinate just because of disgust? Listen until the end. This is not the first time I have felt such disgust. Do you know what transpired between the former deputy judge of the underworld Han Young and the three Heavenly Venerables? Yes, I happened to hear about it before. That one, in a fragment of some ancient force, exposed the disgrace of his three Heavenly Venerables. Yes, disgrace. Hyeon Mu's gaze turns toward me. No, more precisely, she seems to be using me as a medium to peer into my body in the true immortal realm. The disgust I felt when Han Young exposed our disgrace, it is the same feeling from then. The being you are hiding within your body is, by its very existence, an immense disgrace to the Heavenly Venerables. Let me ask you one thing. That one, was it born in the head realm? Quote, Yes. Quote, Of course. The totality of all ancient force. The secret wonder of hidden history. It is because it was born in the head realm that it carries this feeling. Hyeon Mu grips her own face, contorting it into a bizarre expression that teeters between laughter and weeping. Quote, Now you understand the causality. Hand it over. That one is a disgrace to the Heavenly Venerables. It is one of the traces of ancient force that we deemed as wisdom that even we ourselves must not know, that we severed from history and sealed away. Even if it is not by my hand, the other heavenly venerables except the underworld will seek to annihilate it by any means the moment they lay eyes on it. Quote. You called it your family. How could that be? Do you think such a dangerous entity, tied to the disgrace of the heavenly venerables, would truly consider you as family? Even if it follows you now, it must surely be hiding its true intentions. Ah, did you say you hatched and raised it from an egg? Then is it in the process of regaining its memories? That could be the case. The moment it fully remembers everything, it will care nothing for its connections to someone like you and will kill you without hesitation. Between the fingers of the heavenly venerable of void, her menacing gaze gleams. This is dangerous. Hand it over. It is fated to die by our hands anyway. It is dangerous to you as well. Your so-called pitiful notion of family means nothing to it. Offer it to me. That is the only path for everyone. Hong Fan is the disgrace of the heavenly venerables. But I do not want to agree with that statement. And more than anything, Hyeon Emu's words are wrong. This child is not the disgrace of you all. There seems to be a misunderstanding. I hope this misunderstanding can be resolved. A misunderstanding. You claim him to be the disgrace of the heavenly venerables, yet this one has met the Sal Tree heavenly venerable before. Back in the ancient Force realm. At that time, I had no recollection, but I later recalled everything within the Annihilation Flower upon hearing the Sal Tree heavenly venerables cry. I'm referring to all the moments spent together with the Sal Tree heavenly venerable in the ancient Force realm. Back then, I'm certain Hong Fan accidentally pushed the Sal Tree heavenly venerable. And I remember the Sal Tree heavenly venerable looking at Hong Fan with a displeased expression. But that was all. The Sal Tree heavenly venerable did not go berserk like Hyeon Mu, trying to kill Hong Fan. This child is not some disgrace of the three heavenly venerables. I recount what happened back then and try to persuade Hyeon Mu. Perhaps because he grew up in the head realm, he may have become entangled with some aura from that place. If so, I will extract it for you, so please, do not be angry and resolve this misunderstanding. Hyeon Mu, having listened to everything I said, nods and speaks. Understood. Exclamation mark. Truly, thank you. That one, among all the heavenly venerables, is the one most deeply tied to the disgrace of my origin. It is undoubtedly the one closest to me. Pardon. At that shocking statement, I grit my teeth and press on. What do you mean by that? In the first place, even when the Northern Heavenly Venerable took their own life before me as a member of the Black-Scaled Fish Commanding Sect, Hong Fan was present. Well, sorry, but I don't remember much about the inside of Lofty Dragon's storage scroll. Those at your level might not have noticed, but fate and history are interwoven in a tangled mess over there, and for beings of a certain level, both authority and perception are immensely restricted. Think about it. Why do you think that bootlicker of Radiance Hall, Baek Woon, didn't rummage through the treasure trove that is Lofty Dragon's storage scroll? It's because she knows it's impossible for someone like her to break through the fate and history woven by Lofty Dragon true person. That's enough. Hyeon Mu glares at me with a truly angered expression. Enough talk. Hand it over. There can be a few reasons why only I am feeling discomfort. For example, it could be because I have the sharpest intuition and the most delicate senses among the four heavenly venerables, meaning that this is a discomfort only a being of my level can perceive. Or, as I said, that one is the disgrace tied to my origin. Either way, it is a highly dangerous and ominous existence, and only by killing and erasing it right now will I not be afraid of future consequences. Sarek. Exclamation mark. In an instant, Hyeon Mu closes the distance, stopping just short of touching the tip of my nose. My body trembles as I stare at her. When she moves, I can't perceive it. This isn't some trick or deception. It was purely the result of an insane speed that far surpassed light, erasing the distance between us. I will say this one last time. Hand it over, before I kill you. I smile. Try killing me. Hyeon Mu looks up at me, her eyes filled with emptiness and rage. Are you not afraid of pain? The one who has inflicted the greatest pain upon me, is my senior brother. I meet her gaze without looking away. I state this with certainty. The Northern Heavenly Venerable could never bring me pain greater than my senior brother has. At my declaration, Hyeon Mu narrows her eyes. I see. From GWAKM, that's how it was. Kukik. Hyeon Mu takes a step back and chuckles. But it seems you don't quite understand. In this world, torture isn't limited to the kind of brutal and oppressive suffering that GWAKM inflicted. Sarek. Hyeon Mu moves her hand. I flinch in surprise at her movement and quickly glance at my surroundings. Space and time distort. The place beneath my feet has turned pitch black. The starlit depths of the good sight heavenly domain are swallowed by darkness. It is as if the entire world has transformed into the interdimensional void. This is distance. In this world with me as the center, the distances between me and the countless stars have become endlessly distant. I will not bring you harm. As I dislike interference in my battle against the underworld, I will simply make you hand it over yourself. Sururuk. Melting into the darkness, the heavenly venerable of the void lets out a chilling laugh. Endless eternity. You will never escape the good sight heavenly domain, nor will you ever communicate properly with anyone else. No matter where you move, only darkness will welcome you, and you will never reach another star. Feel the weight of solitude for all of eternity. Sarurarik. The voice of Hyeon Mu who has fully dissolved into the darkness echoes through my mind. Until you hand over my disgrace, you will sail through darkness within horrifying solitude for all of eternity. By Hyeon Mu's authority, I am imprisoned in a space-time cage where no light can reach. Hong Fan is Hyeon Mu's disgrace. One day, if he regains his memories, he will betray me. It doesn't matter, at least in this moment. Hong Fan follows me. As long as he follows me, I will trust him. For that is retribution Ying Bao and at the same time, connection Yin Yuan. And at the same time, he is family. Hong Fan is already my family. Even if you imprison me for 10 million years, I will never hand over my family's life to another. I stare into the terrifying void that has become my prison and shout. Let's see who wins. Thus, with Hong Fan between us, the long battle between Hyeon Mu and I begins. Chapter 577, Radiance 10 Heavens Guangming Shitian 6. Endless darkness. I try to bend space with attraction force to escape from this empty void. Gigajik. But even after warping space and moving thousands of light years, even after traveling for days, nothing in my surroundings changes. How many days have I been moving like this? Master. Hong Fan. Hong Fan speaks to me. I lost consciousness for a moment due to the presence of some immense being. What happened? I hesitate for a moment. Hyeon Mu's words about how if Hong Fan regains his memories, he would abandon our family play lingers in my mind. But I shake my head and tell him. I recount everything that happened between me and Hyeon Mu. Master, please offer me. Hong Fan grits his teeth as he speaks. Rather than being shackled by someone like me, it is far more important for Master to advance in realm by sacrificing me. It's not happening, Master. Silence. It is already a decided matter. Even if I must wander this void for 10 million years, no, 100 billion years, what cannot be done cannot be done. Master. As if sensing my resolve, Hong Fan lets out a quiet sigh. Then, nodding, he speaks. Understood. If that is Master's will, then within the boundaries Master set, I will find an escape route for Master. Hong Fan settles within my body and begins drawing something on the ground. They are formulas and diagrams. There must be a way. This place has turned into something like the interdimensional void, but it is still the astral realm. If that is the case, then there may be a way to escape by passing through the interdimensional void, Source River, the underworld, or the Eastern Heaven flower field. I will calculate every possibility and method with all my strength. With a solemn expression, he continues with determination. I will exhaust all my talents to ensure that Master escapes this place and walks your rightful fate. Hong Fan. Feeling his loyalty, I suppress the surge of emotion rising in my chest. Yes, he is my family. How could anyone carelessly doubt someone who believes in them so completely? I will trust you as well. I will not disappoint you. I will find a way out. From that day on, Hong Fan devotes himself to analyzing the astral realm's attraction force, spatial currents, and the flow of the planes of chi, soul, and fate, searching for a way to escape this empty space-time. Thanks to that, we uncover a new truth. This space is unfolding with Master at its center. With me at its center. Yes, an immense region of space moves with Master as its core. Because this empty space shifts whenever Master moves, Master will never be able to leave it and arrive at another location through ordinary movement. Then what must I do? There are a few methods. The first method is to commit suicide. If Master takes your own life, the space structured around Master will collapse. However, this is absolutely not an option, so please do not even think about it. Yeah, I don't commit suicide so easily. The second method is to approach the brink of death, as close as possible, then revive abruptly. Hong Fan's explanation is as follows. This space unfolds with me at its center, influenced by my actions and state. So, if I die, the space collapses. If I become weak enough to be close to death, the space contracts. And if I revive abruptly after reaching that near-death state, my restored presence will surpass the shrunken space, allowing me to escape. Quote. However, as this is far too dangerous, I do not recommend it. I suggest the third method instead. The third method. Yes. The third method is to create a substitute. A substitute? Yes. I recalled a memory from my past life. Have you ever heard of a way to desecrate fate? I know it well. Then there is no need for a lengthy explanation. The method is to elevate the immortal treasure or devotees within your body, like Yohi, Hamjin, or Yuhi, to the true immortal realm. Then, Master transfers the space-time of emptiness affixed to you onto them. I frown at Hong Fan's words. That is far too cruel. I have no desire for such a method of desecrating fate. Once Master passes this space onto them, Master can seek out the existence known as the owner of void and either negotiate or fight to unravel this space-time. That will resolve the issue. But, Hong Fan watches my hesitation, then suddenly slaps me across the face. Jaak. Quote. Exclamation mark quote. Get a hold of yourself, Seo. Yun. Do you really think you can escape this place without any sacrifice? The only things you can obtain without sacrifice are empty ones like words and hearts. This world is built upon sacrifice, and you yourself have made it this far because of sacrifice. What you must do is not to whimper at those sacrifices but to step upon them and move forward towards a better future. You must walk your path of rightful fate. With a furious expression, Hong Fan continues his outburst. Are you planning to sit around here for thousands, tens of thousands years? 100 billion years? Have you not even thought about the people waiting for you outside? Right now, you need to get out of here no matter what method it takes. Quote. I meet Hong Fan's gaze. He appears furious, but his eyes hold not anger, but concern. He is only pretending to be angry for my sake. Quote. A sharp rebuke. I appreciate it. Accepting his words, I give a bitter smile. Fine, if you insist this much, I will accept it to a degree. But, I look directly into his eyes. Aren't you still hiding another method from me? Tell me that first. Quote. Understood. There are two more. The fourth method. Master advances to the realm of a great net immortal. If you do, Master will be free from the attraction force of the true immortal realm and will be able to properly move through it. That will make escaping to other dimensions, such as the Source River or the Eastern Heaven Flower Field, incredibly easy. And the last method, the fifth method, is to observe every flow that composes this space-time of emptiness and dismantle the gaps within it. If that can be done, even without a high cultivation realm, Master will be able to escape to other dimensions like the Source River, the Flower Field, or the Underworld. Having finished his explanation, Hong Fan sighs and speaks. But to be honest, given the current situation, I will speak realistically. Master, you are a dullard. You have yet to even grasp your own fate, so your talent as a true immortal is the worst. At your current state, I estimate it would take Master about 1 billion years to become a great net immortal. His blunt criticism feels like a nail being driven into my chest. A billion years. No matter what, could it really take that long? And the last method is the same. This space has a specific flow, and it can be analyzed, but the problem is. Master must have felt it too, right? Quote. Yeah, this space has a will. Yes, it is likely the will of the Northern Heavenly Venerable, as you mentioned. The moment I attempt to analyze this space, that will most certainly begin chaotically scrambling all the flows of this vast space that stretches beyond comprehension to obstruct me. To analyze this space from complete ignorance while being obstructed by a heavenly venerable, even for me, would take 50 million years. Well, it is certainly a far faster option than waiting for Master to advance to great net immortal, but 50 million years is still an unfathomable length of time. Quote. Realistically, the quickest method is to raise Yohi back to the entering nirvana stage and then kill her to aid her advancement to true immortality. Afterward, handing over this space-time to her as a true immortal would be the quickest course of action. In that case, it would take at most 10 million years, and at the fastest, around 4,000 years, but Hong Fan and I turn our gaze in the same direction. Clank, clank. At some point, Yohi awakened and began eavesdropping on our conversation. The moment our eyes meet, Yohi quickly escapes from my body and tries fleeing towards a distant void outside this space-time. Quaduduke. But as my immortal treasure-bound entity, she cannot escape the attraction force between us, and she is caught and pulled back to me. What exactly is the problem? We were discussing aiding your advancement to true immortality. Haha, Master. Are you joking right now? What? Yohi, seemingly forgetting that she is bound as my immortal treasure, starts raging at me, even while stricken with fear. This space-time of emptiness. There is no trace of any dimension of death here. No source river, no eastern heaven flower field, no underworld, no interdimensional void. See, can't you feel it? That a great being has sealed off the domain of death. How can I advance in a place like this? Do not worry. There is one domain even a heavenly venerable cannot seal. Indeed, currently, this space-time of emptiness is tightly sealed by Hyon Mu to prevent our escape. From the underworld to the source river, all space-times of death are severed within this astral realm. However, even if it is Hyon Mu, there is one thing she cannot seal. The domain of purity. Even now, I can feel that I can use heavenly escape. The true world of death. If it is there, advancing to true immortal is definitely possible. If you advance in the same manner I did, there will be no issue. Damn it all, I already know, Master. I know what you are saying. That so-called purity or whatever. Given my age, I've heard the rumors passed down among the entering nirvanas. In ancient times, advancing to true immortality was practically a brutal and horrific ritual, no difference from suicide. But after the rise of the four heavenly venerables, underworld, Saltree, time, and void, the success rate for true immortal advancement skyrocketed. That means there is a method to advance without passing through the conventional dimension of death. But the probability is just too low. I will definitely die. I will pass down my own advancement experience without reservation. And if I teach you martial arts, I refuse. Even as an immortal treasure-bound entity unable to escape my attraction force, Yohi lashes out at me before suddenly breaking into tears. I don't want to. I don't want to die. I'm so terrified of dying, so terrified of my life ending, that even with the easier true immortal advancement, I was nothing but a voyeuristic piece of trash lingering in the nether ghost realm. I'm afraid of dying. The thought of losing everything I have enjoyed and simply vanishing into a lump of nothingness terrifies me to my core. She wails, sobbing uncontrollably. This is too much. If it's being imprisoned with golden shaking bird for 100 billion years to be tortured and refined, I would nod and agree. But forcing me to advance is too much. I don't want to die. Quote. She does not want to die. She wants to live. That desperate, grief-stricken cry resonates deeply with me. Hong Fan glares at Yohi with a furious expression and shouts. What a disgraceful! How in the world did you even reach the entering nirvana stage? Do you not understand that some things cannot be obtained without being resolved to face death? From the star-shattering stage onward, one must always be ready to risk their life. How are your previous advancements any different from advancing to true immortality? Shut up. How is certain suicide the same as an advancement ritual where I can prepare and avoid death? I don't want to die. That's all there is to it. Do you not understand that there are values greater than life? Even after surviving this long. Shut your mouth, you bug bastard. How dare a mere star-shattering stage argue against me? I have already heard everything. As long as you are sacrificed, we can easily escape from here and even obtain a blessing, so why are you not slitting your own throat and offering yourself? If there really are things more important than life, prove it with your actions right now. Quote. Truly, despite facing Yohi, who, being at the sacred vessel stage, is practically at the level of an entering nirvana true person, Hong Fan, who has only just reached the star-shattering stage, does not falter in the slightest. Instead, he grits his teeth as if looking down on her. Quote. Pathetic insect. Ha, say whatever you want. I don't want to die. I just want to live. That is all. Quote. I cut off their conversation. Enough. That is enough. Master. That's enough, Hong Fan. I understand your loyalty, but I also fully understand Yohi's feelings. Because I, too, absolutely loathe dying. Not wanting to die is only natural, isn't it? Quote. Then there is no other way. Hong Fan, you have a total of 5 plans, correct? Yes, that is correct. We will carry them all out simultaneously. Pardon, Wo Wang. Goo. I raise my hand, drawing power from my true body. My chest pain flares up again. At the same time, a star begins to form above my hand. I will ask Hamjin and Yuhi as well. And perhaps they will refuse, too. If that happens, I will ask others. In the darkness, a single star is born. It is not a fixed star, but a rocky planet. Still, a star is a star. I begin to breathe life into the surface of that star. Either way, to cultivate the formula of the radiance 10 heavens, I will need living beings. I will ask them, and I will elevate my own realm as well. Hong Fan, I am sorry, but however long it takes, analyze this space-time. Meanwhile, I will raise the cultivation of the lifeforms that will be born. I will raise them, and raise them even more, until one day, someone among them reaches true immortality. Then, I will entrust it to them. Quote. Does that not settle everything? Goo. The pain in my chest intensifies. I begin forming a fixed star using immortal arts and glance at Hong Fan with a smile. I do not know how many years this will take, but since things have come to this, let us think of it as an extended cultivation session. What do you think, Hong Fan? It may be a bit slower than you expected, but... I turn to Yohei. I cannot break the will of someone who wants to live, can I? And more than anything, I recall the words I spoke to Gwakam. A sharp rebuke to not force your ways upon those who refuse them. I cannot be like Gwakam. I despise Gwakam. As my senior brother, I grant them the respect due, but their methods, their words, and everything about them repulses me. So, even as I move forward, I will never follow their way. I will never force my path upon another. Even if, by my own standards, it is a blessing. After all, you, too, respect my way. That is why, as Yohei said, you are not immediately slitting your own throat to offer yourself, is it not? Quote. Hong Fan lets out a deep sigh and speaks. Quote. Do as you wish. Now that Yohei has refused, my proposal no longer holds any meaning. I will follow Master's will. Thus, from that day onward, within this completely void spacetime of emptiness, I begin to place stars one by one. Like that, 1,000,000 years pass. Goo. The cultivation of the Radiance 10 Heavens formula. The creation of a fixed star finally takes its first step. At last, within the small world of stars I have formed, a fixed star is born for the first time and scatters its light. 578. Inside the spacetime of emptiness. 10 years pass. After coming to their senses, Hamjin and Yuhi swear proper allegiance to me and begin their cultivation atop the stars I have created. I continue forming planets in the void of nothingness. It's a little lonely, but bearable. Wu Wang, whatever Hyeon Mu has done, this original space of the astral realm is completely devoid of even a single dust cloud. Because of this, I must personally create matter to form planets, which drains my strength even more than before. In the darkness, I generate heaven and earth spiritual energy through my main body, filling the surroundings. The heaven and earth spiritual energy that fills the surroundings soon settles into the plane of Qi, gradually descending to the floor of the plane of Qi and transforming into heavy matter. Kurururung. Using the matter I create, I slowly form planets. Hamjin and Yuhi also steadily grow as they absorb the heaven and earth spiritual energy of the planets. In particular, Hamjin shows truly remarkable growth. Even when Yohei constantly chases after him, trying to mate with him at every opportunity, he indifferently brushes her off and continues his cultivation, making him seem like an entirely different person. During the 3,000 years I was asleep, it seems he has achieved an astonishing level of mental growth. Hamjin's current cultivation is at the 4-axis stage. It is merely the 4-axis stage built with the 5 elements axis, yet for some reason, he is far stronger than others of the same realm, possessing combat strength equivalent to the integration stage. Observing Hamjin, I uncover the reason. So that's it. Hamjin, that brat. After receiving a severe scolding from me, he spent 3,000 years grasping a portion of immortal arts. He has partially comprehended filling the heavens governing view. It is not a complete filling the heavens governing view. In fact, it has undergone some modifications, becoming quite different from its original form. But there is no doubt. Hamjin exudes the aura of an immortal art similar to that of filling the heavens governing view. An immortal art that manifests purely through the heart. Perhaps without even realizing it, Hamjin has, while being influenced by my filling the heavens governing view, begun awakening an immortal art of his own. I watch as Hamjin fleeing from Yohi, Yuhi burrowing through the planets I have made, and Hong Fan analyzing space-time. A smile spreads across my face. Hyeon Mu had claimed that no one would be able to communicate with me. Yet Hong Fan, through his own immortal art, converses with me without issue. Yohi, being my immortal treasure, is half fused with my being and has no trouble conveying messages to me. While it is true that I cannot communicate with Hamjin and Yuhi directly as Hyeon Mu said, I can simply relay my messages through Yohi or Hong Fan, so it doesn't matter. Are you watching, Hyeon Mu? Without losing my smile, I prepare an immortal art to create a fixed star in the darkness. I am not so lonely. No matter how much Hyeon Mu tries to imprison me here, I will never submit to her, I will never bow. And so, 90 years pass in the darkness. The 100th year arrives. Wo Wang, as I produce heaven and earth spiritual energy and create planets, I come to a realization. This is astonishing. Indeed, back when I had just become a true immortal, I had no time to calmly reflect, which is why I failed to notice it before now. What I have been generating is not heaven and earth spiritual energy. At my murmuring, Yohi, who had been meticulously planning her strategy to bring down Hamjin, tilts her head in confusion and asks. Wait, Master didn't know that until now. What? That's strange. Since Master advanced to true immortality and grasped fate, there's no way you wouldn't know. To think you only figured it out now. Those in the star-shattering stage generate ordinary heaven and earth spiritual energy, but true immortals and beyond don't actually produce heaven and earth spiritual energy at all. I sit atop the tallest mountain on one of the glass planets I have created, frowning. What do you mean by that? And why are you only telling me this now? My apologies, Master. Honestly, I just never imagined that a genius like Master, hailed as the return of vast cold, wouldn't know something so basic. It seems that because the energy I generate being unusual is such common sense, no one has ever thought to mention it to me. From the moment one becomes a true immortal, the heaven and earth spiritual energy they produce is altered depending on their inner world and the type of immortal art within it. Take the middle realms of the sun and moon heavenly domain as an example. The bright cold realm generates heaven and earth spiritual energy that is purer and clearer than anywhere else. The true devil realm produces devilish energy. The blood yin realm generates blood devilish energy. The nether ghost realm creates ghostly energy. The ancient force realm produces spiritual energy infused with ancient force. Purple gold realm produces light black true energy, and the living beings within each realm cultivate using the energy unique to each realm. I see. Now that I think about it, that was indeed the case. Each middle realm produces a different type of heaven and earth spiritual energy. When one reaches true immortality, the energy they produce changes based on the immortal Tao or seat they follow, as well as the immortal art they have cultivated and the state of their inner world. In other words, all true immortals gain the authority to create their own unique energy within this Sumeru world, establishing a new system of power. And ultimately, that is the true nature of the cultivation methods that mortal beings use. As I listen to Yogi's explanation, I observe the energy forming within me. Those who practice devilish arts convert heaven and earth spiritual energy into devilish energy for use, while those who cultivate ghost path methods transform it into ghostly energy. Conversely, those who follow orthodox Taoist family methods accumulate pure heaven and earth spiritual energy within their bodies. The very act of altering energy into a different form of power through cultivation methods is, in essence, an imitation of the authority systems of true immortals. In the end, every method of transforming energy, whether it belongs to the heaven tribe or the earth tribe, points back to the framework of true immortals. Warurururuk. Yogi lifts a cluster of antimatter above her hand as she speaks. Even the method I cultivated up to the 4-axis stage was a demon beast method derived from the ancestor of my bloodline, Glass Peacock. That's why dual cultivation was a mandatory part of my cultivation, and also why I have such a fondness for dual cultivation. Wait, then your distant ancestors are Azure Pung and Glass Peacock? Yes, something like that. But because the generational gap is too vast, my immortal beast true blood has almost completely dried up. As a result, aside from a few demon beast methods, I have primarily cultivated heaven tribe methods. Wait, in my past life, Glass Peacock even went as far as No, never mind, let's not think about it. I shake my head, erasing my thoughts of Glass Peacock's absurd actions. Even now, despite having become a true immortal, just recalling Glass Peacock's behavior feels Mentally polluting. Anyway, thanks. So, this is my own unique energy. I recommend giving it a name, if possible. A name, yes. The moment you name your energy, it will become properly established, and it will provide a much more helpful path for Master's immortal Tao. Is this, too, an influence of the naming supreme deity? With that thought in mind, I contemplate my energy. Chi-ji-ji-jik. Poignant pain is embedded in the very nature of my spiritual energy. Not a physical pain, but a mental one. If absorbed passively, it induces sorrow, loneliness, and heartache for no particular reason. However, when observed calmly, the sorrow fades, leaving behind clarity and gratitude. Until now, I thought my mood was just like this. It seems that this energy has been influencing me all along. I gaze at the energy carrying these characteristics and smile. Come to think of it, the reason I have been able to come this far is all because of the countless connections of my past lives. All are precious to me, but among them, the one who supported me the most is, without a doubt, Hyunghwa. It was thanks to you. Was what I just gave you also pain? If not for my meeting with her, I surely would have become a monster no different from Yuan Li. Every time I regressed, I would have consumed my comrades, extracting their essence to enhance my own talent, and turned their corpses into Jiangxi or Dharma treasures to wield as I pleased. I would have done whatever it took, by any means necessary, to enforce what I believed was right through sheer tyranny, protecting those dear to me through only my own ways. I would have become a pathetic madman, no different from my senior brother. So in truth, the only reason I have not become a crazed devilish cultivator is entirely because of her. I stir up an interstellar wind, scattering the energy generated from within me into the surrounding space. It's not just Hyunghwa. The days I spent training in martial arts with Kim Young-hoon. The kiss I shared with Yeon. The sight of Azure Tiger Saint becoming a star. The will of Gyu Ryan and Gyu Beck, who never gave up their hearts even under their hatred for Seo Weo. The heart of Hong Su Ryong, who chose to die by my hand of her own will. The smile of Seo Lee, buried in the past in my place. The legacy of the Salt Sea Supreme Deity, who chose me in the Nether Ghost Realm. The love of Mad Lord, who clung to his last shred of humanity even after becoming a monster. The final moments of Yi and Wei and Hun Won. The last, sincere heart of Taoist Seo. The unwavering loyalty of Blood Yin towards the Imperial Venerable. The emotions of Gyung I towards me. All of these have made me who I am now. Therefore, the name of this energy is Life, Sheng. But then, I suddenly feel the cold murmur of someone striking my mind. You don't know either, Seo Un-yun, why you live. Why others live, what it even means to be alive. What life even is. Don't speak so carelessly when you know nothing. I know nothing. That's right. Just as those words say, I do not know what life is. Then, how dare I name something with the word life, Sheng? What is life? I know nothing. The name of this energy. I will decide later. Even if I were to gain the help of the name, the increase won't be significant. Well, I'm not a true immortal, so I wouldn't know for sure. Do as you please. With those words, Yohi flies off to capture Ham Jin in the distance. Even after Yohi disappears, I continue to mull over the question Ohai Seo threw at me for a long time. What is life? A new question has been given to my lonely and monotonous existence. Because of this darkness remains bearable. In this way, about 900 years pass after I realize that my energy is different from heaven and earth's spiritual energy. It is now the 1000th year. Wo Wang. On the planets filled with my heaven and earth spiritual energy, proper dragon veins and star veins have begun to flow. At the same time, the overcompressed energies clump together, and spirits link begin to be born on countless planets. It's the energies accumulating and merging, rising to the plane of soul. Then, at a certain moment, I confirm that life Ming is taking root in those spirits. So all the souls in this world are born in such a way. That day, I come to understand the secret of the birth of souls and spirits. At the same time, I realize that I have become a being capable of mass-producing souls and spirits as I please. This is a little terrifying. I have felt it to some degree since the sacred vessel stage, but this power is truly excessive. If this is the kind of power true immortals possess, then to ordinary true immortals, life must really be nothing more than a toy. Moreover, it is possible to bestow fate upon mortal beings, allowing endless adjustments to their lives. Truly, everything in the lower realms is nothing more than the toys of true immortals. Wo Wang, as I watch spirits being born on the planets, I sense that before long, living beings will actually come into existence in this world. At the same time, I realize that I can freely create and mass-produce the blueprints of life for the living beings that are born through me. During the sacred vessel stage advancement ritual, one usually creates the race to which they belong. But after becoming a true immortal, it becomes possible to freely edit the blueprint of life and create any living being or race one knows of. Perhaps it might even be possible starting from the entering nirvana stage. If it's an entering nirvana from the earth tribe who has mastered the plane of chi, it would take much longer than a true immortal, but it should still be possible. As I watch this unfold, I sink further into confusion. What is life? What exactly is living? If something that can be so easily stamped out, mass-produced, modified, and edited is life and fate, then just what exactly is this world? What meaning are we supposed to seek in this world? In this lonely, monotonous, and silent world, I ponder that question for a long time. And so, another 9,000 years pass. The 10,000th year. The planetary system I have created revolves around me. Once I create a fixed star, I will be able to place it where I stand and form a proper star system. Wo Wang. Within the darkness, I condense heaven and earth's spiritual energy, steadily preparing to create a star. During the entering nirvana and sacred vessel stages, I did not understand it well. Back then, I completed my understanding of suns simply by mindlessly smashing apart fixed stars and planets. But now that I stand in the position of creation, I finally understand. Creation is billions of times harder than destruction. Entering nirvanas can create planets, but they struggle to craft the prophecies corresponding to those planets. True immortals can imbue planets with prophecies, but they find it difficult to create proper middle realms. Now I understand. A fixed star itself is essentially a middle realm. Of course, in terms of rank, it lacks the absoluteness of a true middle realm, which makes it difficult to destroy. It is lower in rank to cedarwood painting, which Kim Yeon and I created from the patchworked corpses of true immortals. However, a fixed star can certainly fulfill the role of a middle realm. The role of providing light to living beings. The role of nurturing life with heaven and earth's spiritual energy. The role of offering a foundation for life with proper attraction force. A fixed star is, itself, akin to the sacred master of a middle realm. I am not simply creating a massive, scorching ball of fire. Now I finally understand. You were all, in truth, alive. I smile as I look upon the planets I have made. All stars are living beings, differing only in structure from organic life forms. And among them, the fixed stars that generate light. They are beings no different from sacred masters. As existences that grant life, they are beings filled with immense love and compassion. Yes, they are existences with a heart. The sun is, by its very nature, a true immortal. An existence that possesses a heart but lacks will, an innate true immortal. That is what a fixed star is. The cultivation of the radiance 10 heavens only ends upon the creation of 10 innate true immortals. Warururuk. Even without anyone telling me, I understand. In the previous realms, I always learned cultivation methods from others, but in the realm of true immortality, the immortal Tao itself whispers wisdom to me. Warurururuk. Before I know it, blazing flames begin to form between my hands. Throughout this time, I have created countless planets and imbued them with prophecies. Those prophecies have accumulated and accumulated, now forming an innate true immortal. Warururuk. Watching the burning seed of a fixed star take shape within my hands, I feel a sense of wonder. Within it, I sense a heart stronger than anything else. I gaze at it with a subtle smile. A faint light, gradually expanding within my hands. On the day this light is born, the spirits that had merely drifted across the surfaces of planets, stirring celestial phenomena, are now born into the world. The power of light caresses the particles on the planetary surfaces, and true life begins to emerge. Microorganisms have appeared. It is different from the sacred vessel stage advancement ritual. Back then, the beings that appeared were already present in the sun and moon heavenly domain. But this time, these beings have truly come into existence from the empty nothingness. Before I know it, Ham Jin has reached the integration stage, gradually grasping the essence of immortal arts. Yugi melts planetary surfaces with his Dan fire, experimenting with the creation of new minerals and materials. Yogi still waits for the perfect opportunity to form a relationship with Ham Jin, constantly searching for the right moment. Hong Fan, on the other hand, has all but severed contact with the outside world, slipping into a semi-dormant state. It seems he is calculating this spacetime while in hibernation. Already, 10,000 years. As I observe their circumstances, I reflect on the time that has passed. 10,000 years have already gone by. In a span long enough for Yang Su-jin to reach an ending 3 times over, I let out a quiet sigh. Perhaps by now, some of my comrades have already reached great net immortal. For some reason, a sense of frustration stirs within me. But I steady my heart. With my talent, the result is the same whether I am inside or outside. In that case, what I must do is not waver over meaningless facts but continue walking this path. Steadily. Let's walk steadily. There is no need to waver. Because my family is my life. To abandon my family is to abandon my life. I deeply understand Yohi's words. I do not want to die. I want to live. I want to enjoy life. This applies not only to Yohi but also to me. So, I will never abandon life. Never will I abandon my family, who are a part of my life. In this lonely, monotonous, silent, and colorless emptiness, I strengthen my resolve and continue my efforts to create fixed stars. 90,000 years pass. The 100,000th year. Kurururung. Hamjin and Yuhi have finally reached the star-shattering stage. They become 2 moons, attaching themselves to one of the planets. That planet, now with 2 satellites, is currently experiencing the most rapid evolution of microorganisms. Under the guidance of the fate I have designated, living beings who will become the ancestors of humanity, along with countless other creatures necessary for human survival, are appearing. Now that Hamjin and Yuhi have become meaningful existences in my plan, Yohi can no longer pursue Hamjin in an attempt to violate him. Instead, Yohi only sends fervent signals of courtship towards Hamjin. Hamjin's surface is covered in a hazy mist. Whenever the mist catches the light, it scatters it in all directions, creating a profoundly mystical atmosphere. It seems to be the influence of an altered immortal art derived from filling the heavens' governing view. Yuhi's surface is extraordinarily dazzling. All kinds of gems and glass cover the ground. With his love for creating new minerals, Yuhi constantly blends and melts new materials or adorns his surface with beautiful minerals and treasures. Is it perhaps because of this? Recently, Yohi has also started sending courtship signals to Yuhi. Though faint to the point of near disappearance, the remnants of Glass Peacock's blood still seem to boil within her. Hong Fan has, at some point, transformed into his true form inside me, coiling into hibernation. I can sense his consciousness accelerating within his lucid dream as he analyzes the spacetime of emptiness. With his tail and head touching to form a perfect circle, Hong Fan in hibernation gives off an oddly blurred sensation. It may have something to do with the fact that he is considered the disgrace of the 3 heavenly venerables. As for me, I am gradually grasping a clear sense of the cultivation of the radiance 10 heavens. TSTSTSTSTSTSTSTSTs. Immortal cultivation is repentant enlightenment. Endlessly reciting the mantra, I gaze up at the massive clump of fire above my head as I repentantly enlighten upon myself. Like tiny grains of salt gathering to form the sea, the energy I generate, when absorbed, induces depression, discomfort, immense mental exhaustion, and pain. But when observed calmly, it induces tranquility, clears the mind, and a deep sense of gratitude wells up. This is the result of my interpretation of my immortal Tao that is repentant enlightenment. Build mountains through repentant enlightenment. 100,000 years. Only after 100,000 years do I grasp it, the cultivation method of true immortals. As a mortal being, cultivation was simply absorbing energy, refining the will, and struggling to grasp the foundation of immortal arts. But it is different for true immortals. Continuously pushing through one's immortal Tao with the chi formed by their immortal Tao, or by their fate or soul. I constantly observe and repentantly enlighten upon my chi, continuously carrying through my chi upon the immortal Tao of repentant enlightenment. If the cultivation method of the lower boundary is accumulating energy, and the cultivation method of the middle boundary is accumulating will, then the cultivation method of the great boundary can be said to be the act of imprinting one's will upon the world itself. The more I push through repentant enlightenment, the more my energy moves according to my will, beginning to form a sun on its own. I can feel it. I gain an even deeper understanding of the origin of the chest pain. Previously, I only knew that the pain stemmed from trying to change the world purely with my will, but as I continue creating the sun, I come to understand the principle behind it. Jing. This world is composed of attraction force. The entirety of this world that is Mount Sumeru, is formed through the attraction force emitted by the heavenly domains and those who exist within them. Prophecy is the act of adding one's own attraction force to the existing attraction force, subtly twisting the direction of the world. Ordinary true immortals consume the fortune they are born with to shift the world's flow, its attraction force. But I had long since exhausted my own fortune. At the end of the zeroth cycle, all of my fortune vanished. In other words, I was born without any fortune. Therefore, I can only twist the world through my own faith and willpower. So that's what the way of salt is. The orthodox immortal art of twisting the world with the heart alone I learned from the Salt Sea Supreme Deity Cheongman Ryong. While ordinary true immortals use their innate fortune or plunder the fortune of others to perform natural prophecies, I use it in the form of immortal arts, hence the pain. Quote, "It hurts. I place my hand over my chest and gaze up at the gradually expanding sun. No prophecy comes without a price. True immortals are not omnipotent. To achieve the goals they desire, to attain their own happiness, they must seize another's fortune and bring calamity upon someone else. For every existence in this world, one cannot become happy without another falling into misfortune. In my case, the one suffering misfortune to achieve my will is none other than myself. The repentant enlightenment of carving away myself to build a mountain. That is my repentant enlightenment. In this solitude, in this monotonous, silent, colorless, and empty space-time. In this lonely, monotonous, silent, colorless, and meaningless space-time. I continue my repentant enlightenment while understanding severing mountain swordsmanship's 36th move from a new perspective. And so, time continues to flow once more. I drift through darkness, a darkness where no one exists. Hong Fan has long abandoned the pursuit of cultivation, focusing solely on analyzing space-time. And, after countless eons, Ham Jin and Yu He have finally reached the sacred vessel stage. They voluntarily become my immortal treasures, allowing me to properly communicate with them. The fixed star is nearing completion. However, my heart has been long worn away. How many years have passed? Yogi says that about 1,000,000 years have gone by. 1,000,000 years. It's 1,000,000 years. It is a span of time longer than my entire combined lifetimes. Of course, cases like this have occurred quite frequently. I'm referring to spending a time longer than all my lives combined in strange places. During that time, I have nearly completed a fixed star and pushed my understanding of the immortal Tao of repentant enlightenment deeply into the world. And as a result, the fixed star I created has begun to hold a fate. That fate is a fate that assists the immortal Tao of repentant enlightenment. Interesting. Building upon oneself is repentant enlightenment. But in the end, I receive the assistance of fate. Yes, that is it. That is all there is. What I have gained, in this stale darkness, is only that. Hoo-ah! I let out a scream, feeling as if my mind is about to break apart. Ham Jin, Yu He, and Yogi flinch in shock and rush over to comfort me. But I feel no solace at all. You until when? Badoo-doo-dook. Until when? Until when do I have to keep being like this, powerlessly? It is not the fear of crouching in this darkness like an idiot that terrifies me. What is most terrifying, horrifying, and unbearable is that my comrades, after all this endless time, I have no idea of knowing whether they are dead or alive. That the connections I hold dear, I have no idea of knowing what has become of them or what they are doing beyond this pitch-black darkness. That is what is driving me mad. What is life? Oh Hai Seo's question still haunts me. I thought that through repentant enlightenment, I might find the answer. But no one is here, and yet how long am I supposed to keep carving away at myself to build this mountain? Until when? Master, please calm yourself. Master, teacher, Yohi, Yuhi, and Ham Jin fly to me, trying to restrain me, but I clutch my head as I violently shake the surroundings using attraction force as if I've lost my mind. Quote, What am I supposed to do? Hong Fan, I can't wake him and disturb him. My precious people, I don't even know if they are alive or dead. I have no way of knowing what's happening outside. If only I could be tortured instead. I would rather be tortured. Please, just what is the difference between this and being taxidermized by the heavenly venerable of the underworld? Only now do I begin to understand, with crushing clarity, the words, endless eternity, that came from Hyeon Emu's mouth. If there were others, equal others, many precious others. If I could exchange connections with them, I could definitely endure even 10,000,000 years. But in this space-time, there is nothing. Yohi, Ham Jin, and Yuhi do not share a relationship with me. They simply revere me. To be the object of worship can never create an equal relationship. The only one with whom I have formed a certain relationship with, Hong Fan, chose to forsake advancing his own cultivation and is in deep hibernation, putting forth immense effort. I cannot wake him in this state. The stellar system is nearly complete, yet the microorganisms within it can never be subjects of communication. No, even if they were to evolve into humans. Would they be able to communicate with me? Would they be able to understand even a fraction of my worries, my suffering? In this dark and stale silence, just who could possibly understand me? I raise my hand towards the nearly completed fixed star. Goo. My will is imbued into the fixed star, and so is my immortal Tao. Flames with higher temperatures burn blue. Thus, the fixed star glows blue-white. Whooroo. I blankly stare at the burning fixed star in this space-time of emptiness, marking the conclusion of the first stage of the Radiance 10 Heavens cultivation. Flash. The fixed star settles in the place where I stand, pulling entire planets with its attraction force and forming a stellar system. Wu Wang. Yes. At the very least, you are my only understanding companion. I let out a quiet murmur and sit cross-legged on the surface of the fixed star. A sphere of light, no different from my own child. Suat. I sense the immortal Tao of repentant enlightenment resonating with the sphere of light and blankly gaze into its depths. For a brief moment, the image of a deep blue snake biting its tail seems to flash within the light. The moment my first fixed star is completed, among the 14 planets I created, the 7 with the most living beings undergo a tremendous evolution. Everywhere, vegetation begins to flourish. The power of wood, drawing nourishment from the light, breathes life and fully blooms. Vast forests take root upon the planets. Watching this unfold, I gently caress the fixed star I have created with care. For now, I just want to be alone with this one. At my command, my 3 immortal treasures, Yo-hee, Ham-jin, and Yu-hee, exchange slightly concerned glances before disappearing from sight. But they have no need to worry. The moment the fixed star was completed, my heart gained great peace. Something about this light feels as if it might pull my very mind into its depths. The millionth year. In this lonely, monotonous, silent, colorless, meaningless, dark, stale, and desolate space-time. As I see the light completed after a million years, my heart begins to gradually lose to its radiance. Chapter 579, Radiance 10 Heavens Guangming Shitian 8. Is everyone gathered? Deep beneath the surface of a planet untouched by light. 3 figures stand together in the darkness. A woman clad in black Geogorian skirt. A boy dressed in black martial attire. A man draped in a black robe. They are, respectively, the immortal treasures of the crystal glass being, Seo Eun-yun. Twin constructing chains, Yo-hee. Unruly chain, Ham-jin. Obsidian chain, Yu-hee. Chi-jik. As Yu-hee snaps his fingers, one of the minerals he had created bursts into flames, illuminating the surroundings. The mineral, which emanates a faint ghostly energy, causes ghostly shadows to ripple whenever its flickering light wavers. The shadows growl as if alive, opening their mouths as if to devour those who have summoned them. But the moment their gazes meet those of the 3 beings, the ghosts recoil in terror, trembling as they suppress their presence. Cute little things. Did you call that mineral ghost firestone? Yes, Senior. It's an ore formed by compressing ghostly creatures. When pressure is applied, it ignites, and the ghostly creatures that escape from the ghost firestone can be commanded to sing or serve. Of course, it can also be used to set up a barrier so that no one can eavesdrop like this. Woo! At Yu-hee's glance, the quivering ghosts spread out, shrouding the surrounding space in darkness and forming a barrier beyond the shadows. The inner and outer spaces are completely cut off. Not bad. Send me some later. Better yet, if you bring them to my quarters yourself, I'd be very pleased. Yo-hee sends Yu-hee a subtle look, but Yu-hee awkwardly averts his gaze and turns to Ham-jin. Ham-jin. That aside, calling us here like this must mean, you've confirmed it. At Yu-hee's words, the boy in black martial attire, Ham-jin, nods grimly. Yes, the confirmation is complete. Teacher. The words that follow darken not only Yu-hee's expression but also Yo-hee's. Has completely succumbed to madness. It has already been 4 million years since they first began serving Seo Eun-yun in this spacetime of emptiness. During that time, Seo Eun-yun has created 4 fixed stars, forming 4 stellar systems where he has given birth to living beings, transmitted the system of immortal cultivation, and made it so cultivators were born. Though Seo Eun-yun is incapable of communicating with them properly, his 3 immortal treasures who are directly connected to him have carried out his orders, overseeing and guiding the cultivators. As a result, the 4 stellar systems have now produced their first integration stage cultivators. However, Teacher's madness first became evident 3 million years ago, when he created the first fixed star. At some point, Seo Eun-yun's mind began to become unstable. Despite Yoo-hee, Ham-jin, and Yo-hee offering mantras on his behalf, he paid them no heed, utterly engrossed in the act of creating fixed stars and continuously revealing his madness. His condition has only worsened since. Yet, we still held on to hope. He was mad to some extent, but we had hope that one day he would regain his mind and once again become our pillar of support. That was what we believed. But I finished confirming it today. With a darkened expression, Ham-jin speaks the truth he uncovered before gathering here. Teacher no longer wishes to leave this place. The radiant figure he once was is gone. The one who worried for his comrades outside has disappeared, leaving behind only a being obsessed with the creation of fixed stars. He has become nothing more than a mechanical construct. He grits his teeth. There are no signs of his madness improving. And on top of that, you both know it as well. Quote. Yes, he has scattered, filling the heavens governing view across his entire stellar system. Yoo-hee's face darkens as he exhales a heavy sigh. Ham-jin nods and speaks. It is practically an absolute restriction in which no one can advance to the star-shattering stage and above. The thought of quickly raising someone to true immortality and having them take over in order to escape has long been completely abandoned. And we, too, due to the overwhelming will of filling the heavens governing view, have effectively had our advancement to true immortality completely blocked. How did he fall so far? Once, he was our steadfast pillar, a fearsome presence yet the master we could trust. Ham-jin and Yoo-hee let out heavy sighs of concern, while Yo-hee scoffs and crosses her arms. HMPH, I knew from the very start that he wasn't in his right mind. That guy was a monster from the beginning. He was never normal. It's not that the guy who had once gone crazy regained his sanity while still in that state. Rather, he went crazy once again in a different way, making him appear somewhat sane as a result. What nonsense. Even so, show some respect when speaking of Master, Senior Yo-hee. Do not misunderstand. I followed the crystal glass being because I was firmly convinced he was the second coming of Vast Cold. I do not hold loyalty to him unlike you two. In fact, I am older than the crystal glass being, and if we count only cultivation years, I am a senior to him by far. If I had foreseen with my own insight that the madness the crystal glass being carries would escalate to this extent, I wouldn't have followed him. Ham-jin glares at Yo-hee, gritting his teeth before letting out a deep sigh. Quote. Right now, I'd like nothing more than to hang you upside down and beat you senseless, but as this is not the time, I will hold back. Regardless of whether Senior Yo-hee truly believes in and follows Teacher, we must bring him back to his senses. You will cooperate with us in this, won't you? Of course. That goes without saying. I have no intention of rotting away in this bizarre space-time for eternity. I finally managed to step outside the sun and moon heavenly domain. And yet, to think I can't even go around different heavenly domains, kidnapping beautiful men and women to enjoy. Instead, I'm stuck here, confined in this cramped place. Absolutely not. Yo-hee lets out a sigh, looking as if she might die from frustration. Ham-jin massages his temples as if a headache is forming before speaking again. I have no interest in Senior's lustful pursuits. In any case, now that we've confirmed Teacher has fully succumbed to madness, do you have any useful advice as a senior? Impudent brat, I was going to tell you even if you didn't ask. Even though I look like this, I was personally chosen by the Northern Dipper 7 Heavenly Lords and granted entry to the Source River. I know most information worth knowing. She nods confidently and conjures an illusion in the void. It is a 3-dimensional model of the stellar systems they currently reside in. There are a total of 4 existing stellar systems, with a 5th one steadily being prepared to be created. For convenience, I'll refer to the stellar systems the crystal glass being has created as the crystal glass realm. This model perfectly replicates the vast majority of the attraction force, chi, soul, and fate within the crystal glass realm, so pay close attention. Wu Wang. As Yo-hee gestures, the 3-dimensional model begins to change. In an instant, it shifts into something strange, shrouded in a cloud of dust. If what you saw before was the crystal glass realm on the plane of Qi, this is the crystal glass realm on the plane of Soul. The brightest light in the center of this dust cloud is the crystal glass being. Right now, the crystal glass realm is entirely under the crystal glass being's will, and that will has become attraction force, preventing any of us from leaving the crystal glass realm. Quote. It's teacher's madness. Ham Jin lets out a murmur. The current Seo Eun-yun is consumed by madness, scattering filling the heavens governing view across the entire crystal glass realm. No one can reach the integration stage or higher. And no one can escape beyond the crystal realm, beyond the distant spacetime of emptiness. By adding his attraction force into filling the heavens governing view, Seo Eun-yun has created a powerful barrier that effectively seals the entire crystal glass realm. He mutters about how no one understands him, yet at the same time, he doesn't want anyone to leave him. This contradiction in teacher's heart and his madness have amplified to its peak, becoming this barrier. That's right. And that's not all. Look, Yohi points somewhere with her finger. On the three-dimensional model representing the plane of Soul, 4 other clumps of light ripple beside Seo Eun-yun. Those 4 lights, they are the 4 fixed stars the crystal glass being created so far. Do you see them? Ham Jin furrows his brows. He can see them clearly. Each of the 4 stars exhibits a distinct flow, all of which connects to the light that is Seo Eun-yun at the center, influencing him in some way. The fixed stars are influencing teacher. That's right. Now then, shall we move on to the next stage? Wu Wang. Yohi moves her hand, and the plane of fate of the crystal glass realm appears in the three-dimensional model. In the space overflowing with light, several symbols exist. Candle flame that is the merging of glass true fire and aurora. Surrounding it are the symbols of the countless planets and star veins. Lastly, there are the symbols of snakes tightly coiling around the star veins. Blue snake biting its tail. Blue-white snake biting its tail. Red vermilion snake biting its tail. Soft vermilion snake biting its tail. A total of 4 snakes are radiating light. Life is ultimately symbolized by Radiance Hall. As the rulers of the world, they oversee the first stage of true immortality, vestige liberation immortal. The symbol of Radiance Hall is the black snake biting its tail. And the rulers of Radiance Hall, the Radiance 8 Immortals, each oversee one of the fixed stars that correspond to the realm formula of vestige liberation immortal, the Radiance 10 Heavens. All except for the 5th and 6th fixed stars. In any case, they are the most powerful force among all factions in the true immortal realm, exerting immense influence over all true immortals passing through vestige liberation immortal. That means, yes, right now, the crystal glass being is being eroded by the authority of Radiance Hall. The Radiance Supreme Deity must be exerting their strength. Quote. Quote. There's a high probability it's an attempt to suppress the crystal glass being, who was once called the return of vast cold, by directly eroding him and amplifying his madness. At the mention of a governing immortal's presence, Ham Jin and Yuhi cough up mouthfuls of blood-red spiritual energy, clenching their teeth. Then, are you saying that in order to save teacher, we must fight the owner of Radiance Hall, the god of light? That's about right. At Yohi's words, Ham Jin and Yuhi exhale heavy sighs, their expressions darkening. Yohi watches them and smirks. But don't worry too much. The Radiance Supreme Deity is hardly an idle being. Do you really think they'd remain stuck to the crystal glass being? Besides, this place is within the authority domain of a heavenly venerable. The Radiance Supreme Deity's power surely won't reach easily here. So there's still a chance. Quote. What must we do? There's only one way. If the crystal glass being's madness stems from the formula of the Radiance 10 Heavens, then there's really only one option. At Yohi's next words, Ham Jin and Yuhi's eyes widen. We have to smash all of the crystal glass being's fixed stars into cosmic dust. Once freed from the light of the Radiance 10 Heavens, unless the Radiance Supreme Deity is literally parasitizing his body, his mind will definitely return. Quote. Quote. Hearing Yohi's words, the two let out a groan. Do you really think that makes sense, Senior Yohi? Master is the one who was called the return of vast cold. And yet, how are we supposed to destroy the fixed stars that Master cherishes like his own children? Fools, are you going to tuck your tails and give up without even trying? Something about Yohi's confident tone makes Ham Jin and Yuhi's eyes gleam. Do you have a plan? Rather than a plan, we just have to be willing to do whatever it takes. Compared to true immortals, we may lack strength and time, but if we are willing to spend centuries, we can still create a prophecy. Through this, we will mass-produce star-shattering stage cultivators. Then, we will use them as suicide bombs to go against the crystal glass being. Right now, in his current state of madness, the crystal glass being will only unleash his wrath upon the suicide bombs and their bloodline. If we manipulate fate carefully from behind the scenes, he will never know we betrayed him. Hamjin and Yuhi shake their heads in shock at Yohi's scheme. That's unacceptable. It's too much of the cruel devilish path. No matter the situation, such a ruthless plan is intolerable. Ha, well, look at that, we have some ridiculously kind young masters here. Do you plan to stay here for 1,000 years? 10,000? 100 million? Right now, you two are blocked from advancing to entering nirvana by filling the heavens governing view. Are you saying you will spend eternity locked away in this spacetime alongside Seo Eun-yun, who has gone mad? If you two can't do it, then I will do it myself. She rises from her seat, shouting at Hamjin and Yuhi. At that moment, Hamjin stands and tightly grabs Yohi's wrist. Quote. I told you it is not happening. Even if it takes millions of years, I cannot allow that plan. For a moment, Hamjin and Yohi lock eyes. The tension is so thick it feels like a fight could break out at any moment. Just then, Yuhi notices something strange flickering inside the ghost fire stone he created. Within the ghost fire stone, condensed from ghostly creatures who were killed with grievances. A faint illusion of a mountain piled with corpses and a sea filled with blood flickers. It is the scenery of Corpse Mountain Blood Sea. And the moment Yuhi perceives it, Wu Wang, beneath the place they stand, centered around the ghost fire stone, a strange energy of Taiji seems to swirl before a dark red shadow emerges with a stench of blood. Quote. What? Despite the barrier, who are you? The three immortal treasures shout towards the dark red shadow, and the figure smirks. Immortal treasures harboring treacherous hearts. Does your master know of this? Quote. You, who are? Just as Hamjin is about to shout in anger, Yohi hurriedly steps in front of Hamjin and bows to the dark red shadow. Quote. So it is the esteemed figure I encountered back then. 4 million years ago, in the Source River, the being who received the patronage of the mountain god. It seems you have risen to true immortality. My sincere congratulations on your ascension. Yohi's eyes shine brighter than ever. She remembers this dark red figure. Oh hi Seo. 4 million years ago, when she entered the Source River to rescue Seo Eun-yun, she had seen this entity. Even back then, she was a peculiar existence who, despite only being at the entering nirvana stage, received the protection of the great mountain supreme deity. Now, 4 million years later, to be able to intrude into the spacetime of the owner of Void, there is no doubt they have reached a high realm. Holding on to a glimmer of hope, Yohi speaks. Perhaps, would you be able to get me out of here? If you take me out, I will immediately betray the crystal glass being and pledge my loyalty. If you wish, I will even offer my body. Hey. Hamjin shoots her a look of pure contempt, while Yuhi's face twists in displeasure. But Oh Hai Seo merely chuckles. Well, I'd say it's better if you don't leave. Right now, you are in an incredibly safe space. If you knew what kind of great war is raging across the entire 3,000 great thousand worlds, I don't think you would want to step outside. Quote. At those words, Yohi flinches in surprise and asks. What on earth is happening outside? I have no reason to tell you. But I'll at least let you know this. Radiance Hall and the entirety of Mount Sumeru have been waging a colossal war for hundreds of thousands of years. The Heavenly Venerable of the Void and the Sal Tree Heavenly Venerable have suffered devastating damage from the Radiance 8 Immortals and have gone into seclusion. That's why I was able to interfere in the space of a Heavenly Venerable for a brief moment. Kukik, Radiance Hall is truly amazing. Only the Source River, that is no different from mere scrap, is siding with Radiance Hall, yet with just them, they are overwhelming all of Mount Sumeru. Upon learning that the Source River is on the side of Radiance Hall, Yohi trembles as if wanting to rush out immediately. Yuhi, who has learned the Ghost Path method, frowns in suspicion. From what I know, the god of death isn't so lacking compared to the god of light. Are you saying that even the underworld is being pushed back that badly? The underworld is, Kukukek. Currently, all the Reapers have left for the outer sea in search of something. Did they say Punglai Island? I heard they are searching for something like that, but I'm not sure. Only the Heavenly Venerable of the underworld remains, maintaining the underworld while watching the situation. Then, does that mean the underworld has not joined the war? Excluding the faction of Time, have all the forces of Mount Sumeru betrayed Radiance Hall? Like I said, I have no reason to give you any information. I merely explained the situation a little. Anyway, in this chaotic turmoil, do you truly intend to leave this safe shelter? At Ohai Seo's words, Yohi and Yuhi let out a faint sigh, seemingly deep in thought. However, Ham Jin asks Ohai Seo without hesitation. Can you get us and our master out of here? As I said, since the heavenly venerable of the void suffered devastating damage, if I offer part of my corpse mountain blood sea as a sacrifice, I can manage someone like you. But, what realm has Seo Eun-yun currently reached? At Ohai Seo's question, Ham Jin contemplates deeply for a while before answering. Quote. Vestige Liberation Immortal. Master has currently progressed through 4/10 of the realm formula for Vestige Liberation Immortal, that is the Radiance 10 Heavens. Radiance 10 Heavens. Vestige Liberation Immortal. 4/10. Ha. Ha 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 ha. Ohai Seo's shadow clutches its stomach and bursts into laughter as if it finds this unbearably amusing. This is so funny I might go insane. Has being trapped in this space degenerated his talent? Where has that terrifying monster gone, leaving behind only this worthless failure? Good. This is very good. Fine, I'll get your master out too. But there is a condition. Ohai Seo's shadow smirks as she makes an offer to the immortal's treasures. Create a descent formation to descend my will into this space. Using resentment and suffering as a medium would be ideal. This mineral would be best. If you do so, I will descend a portion of my will into this place and gradually help you escape through prophecy. I will help Seo Eun-yun escape too. However, there is a condition. What condition? Seo Eun-yun is currently cultivating the Radiance 10 Heavens, correct? From the moment one starts cultivating the Radiance 10 Heavens, the fixed stars created by the true immortal become one body with them. Because of this, pulling insignificant beings like you out is easy, but Seo Eun-yun's own original mass, combined with the mass of those fixed stars, makes extracting him exponentially more difficult. At her words, Yuhi and Yohi flinch. Destroy the fixed stars Seo Eun-yun created. I will help you. Whether it takes tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, or millions of years, it doesn't matter. Just erase the fixed stars. If you do so, I will take you out. That's, quote. Hey, Ham Jin. This offer. Yuhi and Yohi look at Ham Jin. Perhaps they feel that despite everything, betraying Seo Eun-yun according to Ohai Seo's suggestion feels a bit too much. But what comes out of Ham Jin's mouth is something unexpected. I understand. We will do as you say. Quote. Exclamation mark quote. Ham Jin. Then, please provide the descent formation technique and the necessary information to descend the distinguished one's will. We will proceed with the plan based on those. Ahaha. Good. If the plan succeeds, I will finally see the face I have longed to see. Seo Eun-yun. Revealing an intense killing intent towards Seo Eun-yun, Ohai Seo transmits the information to Ham Jin and disappears. Chijijik. Yuhi's ghost fire stone that Ohai Seo used to transmit her will crumbles into dust. However, Yohi and Yuhi turn to Ham Jin and ask. Quote. This is quite a surprise. I never thought you would betray the crystal glass being. Why did you make that decision, Ham Jin? Aren't you someone who can at least be called master's disciple? The heart that Ohai Seo person has is definitely not a good heart. And this presence, she is at least a great net immortal. Why did you accept the offer not knowing what someone at the level of a great net immortal might do to our Vestige Liberation Immortal? Master. At Yuhi's sharp rebuke, Ham Jin smiles. Quote. Did you not notice, Yuhi? What? That being is afraid of teacher. What? Even if their realm has surpassed teacher's, teacher is strong. Teacher's true body is in the weight class of a great net immortal. His authority may differ slightly, but in an actual fight against a great net immortal, teacher would still have a considerable chance of winning. Furthermore, I felt a deep-seated hatred towards teacher, and just as deeply rooted, a sense of fear. At some point, they must have suffered greatly at his hands. As Ham Jin continues, Yohi and Yuhi's expressions gradually shift to one of understanding. They talk about the mass of the Radiance 10 Heavens, but in truth, they wants to collapse the fixed stars the teacher created to inflict the maximum shock against him through that reaction. Even though teacher is in the weight class of a great net immortal, if he were to suddenly lose the innate true immortals he created all at once, the backlash would significantly weaken him. Which means they have no confidence in facing teacher in his normal state, but if he were weakened, they think facing teacher is worth attempting, isn't that right? Ham Jin continues his explanation. They must be sincere in taking out the weakened teacher in us. The deeply rooted loathing, that hatred. It was truly the look of someone who has a grudge that must be resolved with teacher. Perhaps she lost someone precious to teacher. That's right. At the time, I was at the entering nirvana stage, so I had a rough understanding of the situation. As far as I know, she lost her husband to the crystal glass being. That makes it even more certain. That existence will definitely get us out, if only for the sake of revenge. Even if it means weakening teacher. But that Ohio person is making a massive miscalculation. Hamjin smiles. It's actually the opposite. Teacher is actually at his weakest right now. Because he is steeped in madness and his will has become fragile, this is the moment he is at his weakest. So, on the contrary, if we eliminate the fixed stars of the radiance 10 heavens, the very source of his madness. Quote, he will overcome the madness and become even stronger. Is that what you think? That's right. But you, he asks again as if confused. But no matter what, those fixed stars are no different from the prophecies one utters. Those fixed stars have become one body with Master. Even if his will were to grow a little stronger, can Master really defeat that existence in his weakened state? He can, he. On what basis? Quote, my immortal art originates from teacher. That is why I know. Teacher is someone who can become the strongest purely through his will alone. But conversely, when his will falters and he succumbs to madness, he becomes significantly weaker. That is who teacher is. At Hamjin's words, Yohi crosses her arms and speaks. This is quite. Then, everything is working out well. Like curing poison with poison, huh? You could say so. We will use the power of Ohio, who is targeting teacher, to erase the fixed stars that are the origin of his madness. And when we are taken out by Ohio during the moment when teacher is weakened, teacher will undoubtedly emerge victorious. Hamjin's eyes are filled with absolute confidence. Seeing such a Hamjin, Yuhi nods. All right, if you are going to speak that much, I will trust you. Then I will go and bring back more ghost fire stones. Decide where we will place the descent formation that will descend Ohio's will. All right, thanks. Yuhi turns into a shadow and vanishes from the spot, while Hamjin turns into mist, bows to Yohi, and disappears as well. Watching their departure from deep underground, she smiles subtly. She gently rubs her wrist, where Hamjin had tightly grasped her moments ago, as her cheeks blush. That little cutie has grown so much. Very well, Hamjin. I will keep watching you, and strive to move together with you. Muttering to herself, she, too, vanishes from the spot like the others. 4 million years since the crystal glass being Seo Unyun became trapped in the spacetime of emptiness. Seo Unyun's 3 immortal treasures devised a plan of poison counteracting poison, by using Ohio, who hates Seo Unyun, to remove Seo Unyun's madness. And following their plan, Ohio's will and a portion of her authority gradually begins descending upon the crystal glass realm. On a planet in the remote corner of the crystal glass realm. There, the energy of Corpse Mountain Blood Sea begins to overflow. Quote, GWAKM. I suddenly think of the great mountain supreme deity in the darkness and stare blankly into the void. There is no one. It must have been an illusion. Quote, Did I lose consciousness again? Lately, my consciousness has been flickering in and out more often. But it doesn't matter. It's only when I lose consciousness do I feel as if I am embraced by light, enveloped in warm happiness. Where was I? With blurred eyes, I look at the 4 fixed stars I have created. Quote, Right, I made the fixed stars of great forest, flower plant, great sun, torch candle. Through the wisdom the immortal Tao whispers to me, I murmur the name of the next fixed star I must create. Next, is the light of Castle Wall, the 5th light, the fixed star of Castle Wall. Wu Wang, resisting the attraction force of the Sumeru world, I endure the pain coursing through my entire body. At the same time, the light that will become the foundation for Castle Wall begins to form in my hand. It's warm. Just like all the lights I've created so far, this warm light will welcome me. Gazing at the golden light being born in my hands, I let myself be drawn into the light just as before. But at that very moment, quote, inside the golden light, I see something. That is, it is a snake. Each time I have created a fixed star, I have always seen the form of a snake biting its tail. Seeing the form of a snake appear this time again is only natural, but I feel strange. Because this snake is not biting its tail. As I look at this peculiar snake, which is slightly different from all the others I have seen before, I feel an inexplicable deep sense of longing. This snake is a yellow snake. Chapter 580. Radiance 10 Heavens Guangming Shitian 9. Inside a warm light, I see a yellow snake illuminated within, feeling as if I am being drawn toward it. And then, at some moment, I suddenly snap to my senses. Inside a dark, enclosed chamber. I am hanging upside down. Where is this? Why am I like this? Kiak. Just as I am lost in thought, the door to the chamber creaks open, and a familiar face appears. Ah, Master. It is Cheongman Ryong. He glances down at me briefly before raising a six-sided club, Yugmo Bangmang. Ah, Master. Before I can even ask a question, Cheongman Ryong begins beating me mercilessly with the six-sided club. Kuog. Master. Why in the world are you doing this? Utterly unable to comprehend the situation, I cry out for an explanation. You scoundrel, do you not know your own sins? But Cheongman Ryong rebukes me coldly and continues to beat me relentlessly. I can do nothing but scream under my master's blows. Kuog. Master. Please spare me. Kahyuk. Ku. Strangely, the blows themselves are not particularly forceful. Yet, my master's beating is excruciatingly painful. I have always had a high tolerance for pain, but his blows bypass all my resistance as if landing directly on something fundamental within me. After being beaten for a long time, I hang there, gasping for breath. Ku. Quack. My master splashes water onto my upside-down body and asks, "Do you not repent your sins even a little?" Master. I look at the six-sided club still in his hand and cry out urgently. This disciple. I believe I have lost my memory. I truly do not know why I am being beaten. Please, tell me the reason. Hearing my question, Master tilts his head, bending down to meet my eyes. At that moment, I notice something strange. The reflection of myself in Master's eyes looks off. Why do I feel strange? I see. You are not GWAKM. Pardon. At the mention of the name GWAKM, a pain pierces my head. For some reason, the bandaged face reflected in Cheongman Ryong's eyes feels strange and unfamiliar. Who is Cheongman Ryong? My master's name is not Cheongman Ryong. My body trembles at the sudden surge of confusion. No ordinary being could possess my disciple. That means someone with the same connection. I see. A disciple from the future. It is impossible for a future existence to come to the past, so. I see. Is it a lingering thought left in the past? I understand now. I was defeated, this is a dream. I am merely a lingering thought. Muttering incomprehensible words, Master nods before waving his hand. Tongue, Quadadang. The rope binding me is cut, and I am freed from my suspended state. Master. Let's see. Regardless, to connect to my lingering thought, there must be a medium. What could it have been? Did you say you lost your memory? Do you remember the last thing you saw before that happened? Pardon. I think I saw yellow snake. If it was a snake, it must be one of two things. Either you were in the middle of the vestige liberation immortal cultivation, or you charged into the snake den and gazed directly into the origin essence of light. If you intruded into the snake den, it could be an urgent situation, so. I will wake you. Pardon. As I look up at Master, not understanding his words, he raises the six-sided club high, then brings it down onto the crown of my head with full force. Kuog. An overwhelming pain floods my entire body. I clutch my head and roll on the floor. Master clicks his tongue as he watches me. I intended to awaken you by amplifying your sense of crisis, but seeing as you don't feel any urgency, you must be in a safe place, simply cultivating as a vestige liberation immortal. Your mind already looked somewhat unstable, so, you must have witnessed a great number of snakes during your cultivation. I don't understand what you mean. I can't remember anything. Master clicks his tongue and speaks. That's expected. If you saw the snake multiple times, this is inevitable. Whatever. If the outside is safe, there is no need to wake you immediately. Stay for a few days and reflect upon yourself. Having finished speaking, Master leaves the room. Instinctively, I move to follow him. Master, let me go with you. As I step out of the chamber, what I see is a small wooden storage shed. Beside it stands an old thatched house, and Master sits on its wooden porch and begins grinding ink on an inkstone. Watching him, I instinctively fetch water from a well and fill his water dropper. It feels like a habit ingrained into my body. Alongside the ink, Master prepares other pigments and begins painting something on paper. It is a tangwa. As I silently watch him, Master patiently explains. This is a hobby a friend of mine taught me. A Buddhist tangwa is not merely a depiction of divine beings. It captures the meanings they embody. Surik, Sururuk, moving his brush slowly, he continues. All things in this world are shaped by meaning. Therefore, if one understands the meaning of the world, anything can be painted as a tangwa. In a way, everything in the universe, every affair of this world, is a Buddha. His words seem to carry an inexplicable wisdom. There, it is finished. Though it feels like he barely moved his brush, a completed tangwa now rests beneath his hand. At the center is a wheel of starlight engraved with the three great ultimates. The wheel burns above a small candle flame, while the shadows beneath the candle take the form of a black snake biting its tail, glaring at the wheel of starlight. What do you see in my drawing? Master strokes his goatee and glances at me as he asks. But I simply stare at the tangwa for a long while, unable to open my mouth. An inexplicable wisdom seems to be embedded in the drawing. I will ask again. What do you see in what I have drawn? Circle, Yuan. I see 3 circles. On the outermost, the black snake biting its tail. In the middle, the wheel of starlight. At the very center, the white 3 great ultimates. The 3 circles seem to be the core of this tangwa. Your eyes are keen. You pierce through the diagram at a glance. It is a diagram that cannot be understood without effort to the point of bleeding from one's hands. You must be someone who has put in significant effort. Pardon, I cannot follow Master's words at all. Why is he speaking as if he's seeing me for the first time? But is that all you see? When I focus on the center of the 3 great ultimates, I seem to see something more. It seems to be using an optical illusion. As the curves of the drawing shift, it seems to show some kind of Dharma statue. That Dharma statue, which Buddha is it? Well, that, I will not tell you. For now, take this. Yes, I receive the tangwa Master hands me. From today onward, always carry this tangwa close to your chest. Whenever you have time, look at it. If you do so, you will one day understand the true identity of that Dharma statue. Yes, I will follow your command. Then for now, let us do what we always do to recover your memories. Yes, please teach me. This disciple will definitely recover my memories. Sweep the yard. Pardon, I said, sweep the yard. Following Master's command, I fetch a broom and begin sweeping the yard. Inside the thatched house, there are 1 or 2 trees whose names I cannot recall, and their fallen leaves are scattered everywhere. I sweep up all the leaves, making the yard spotless. Once I finish sweeping, Master orders me to clean the rooms. After cleaning the rooms, I carefully take out Master's valuables and wipe each one carefully, just as instructed. Master carries an unusual number of mirrors, and I always make sure to wipe them thoroughly, keeping them clear. Once cleaning is done, the evening marks the beginning of meditation time. Master and I sit beneath a tree with a mirror in front of us, meeting our own gazes within the reflection as we meditate. When I stare into the mirror for long enough, countless stray thoughts and anxieties arise. Each time, Master instructs me to wipe them away just as I clean the mirrors and sweep the yard. From evening until the next morning, we sit beneath the tree, endlessly reflecting on ourselves. And so, several days pass. Sock. That day, as always, I finish sweeping the yard before beginning to clean the rooms. While cleaning the rooms, I suddenly discover something inside Master's wardrobe. 2 golden masks. What is this? For some reason, they are masks that feel familiar, as if I have seen them before. Surik, using the cloth I was wiping the mirrors with, I polish the surface of the masks. A subtle golden radiance seems to emanate from them. I do not know if they are made of real gold, but they appear extremely valuable. Looking closely, I notice a barely visible engraving of a yellow snake biting its tail on the front of the masks. The engraving is so faint that it would be impossible to notice without careful observation. On the back of each mask, at the forehead area, the characters, Mu Wu and G are etched. For some reason, as I continue staring at the masks, I feel as though I am being sucked into them. I feel an inexplicable impulse to put the mask on my face right away. However, when I suddenly see my face reflected on the surface of the mask, I flinch and shudder. The meditation I have been doing in front of the mirror for the past few days. That meditation has helped. I clear away the stray thoughts of wanting to wear the mask, just as if I were wiping a mirror or sweeping the yard, freeing myself from the desire the mask instills. Just as I escape the mosque's temptation, Master appears behind me. Why have you taken that out? Ah, Master, you've arrived. I apologize. Somehow, looking at the mask brought back some thoughts. I was wondering if it might be connected to my memories, so I was looking at it for a moment. As if that could be the case. It has nothing to do with you. Master strokes his goatee and clicks his tongue. Staring at the mask, I ask in puzzlement. What is this mask? One is a retirement keepsake I took from my old workplace. The other is something I stripped from GWAKM. I warned GWAKM never to put it on again, but who knows if GWAKM is obeying that now. If you understand, put it back where it belongs. I may have crushed the snake's form and put it in my palm, but a snake is still a snake. If you're careless, it will bewitch you. Following my master's command, I return the masks to their place and wipe down the other mirrors. After finishing the room cleaning and stepping outside, I see Master drawing another tangwa. What are you drawing, Master? Seeing that mask just now brought back old memories. So, I decided to paint a scene from the past. In Master's tangwa, two figures resembling kings are depicted, each clad in golden dragon robes, wearing golden mayangwans and donning golden masks. One figure's robe bears the character Mu while the other's bears the character Gi. This is from when I was in the snake den. The one beside me is GWAKM. Back then, there was nothing I feared in the world, but once I left the snake den, I realized how terrifying the world truly is. The place called the snake den, it sounds like Master's old workplace. It seems like a good place, so why did Master leave? Because I was too curious. The secret of the heart my friend who taught me about the tangwa whispered to me, the truth of this world, the miracles that occur when a person meets another. I was unbearably curious. That is why I left the snake den with the mask, took it off with my own hands, and started everything anew. Master's past begins to unfold from his lips. A being who reaches the pinnacle of the immortal Tao and attains a seat, if they abandon that seat, their cultivation resets. Even if one has reached the realm of immortal lord, they would fall to become a vestige liberation immortal. Of course, that applies to ordinary seats. The stronger the power of one's seat, the greater the loss in realm. The seat I stood upon in the snake den was far too powerful, so the moment I abandoned the seat of the snake, I fell all the way to the third star of the chi refining stage. Whenever I hear terms like seat, immortal lord, or vestige liberation immortal, it feels like my memories are vaguely stirring. But even though I had fallen to the third star of chi refining, I did not give up. I built everything again from the beginning. My former comrades in the snake den all expected me to die like a bug, but I endured countless trials and rose again, eventually re-entering the immortal family, and stepping once more onto the immortal Tao. Thus, I attained another seat. Attaining a seat not belonging to the snake, I at last surpassed the me of the past when I was in the snake den. As if an amusing thought has come to mind, Master starts chuckling. The reactions of my former comrades back then were priceless. It's because while the mask I took as a retirement keepsake isn't the main body of the seat, it is a crucial key needed to enter the seat of the snake den. The entire snake den was thrown into chaos. They thought I had died like a bug and that they could retrieve the key, but out of nowhere, I ended up being enthroned as a supreme deity, making them believe they had lost the key for good. So, they decided to go to war with me. Master strokes the tangwa. If it wasn't for my friend, I would have died without a doubt. My friend helped me. They helped me find refuge in a place untouched by light, and thanks to that, I was not killed. In that place, I shared many enlightenments with my friend, and gradually interpreted the seat while growing my skills. The snake den was in an uproar. Because the key was never retrieved and my skills only kept getting stronger, they started sending assassins. Master's hand, which had been stroking the tangwa, now touches the figure beside the one marked with Mu Wu. Of course, not a single assassin ever reached me. The snake den where the venom reached its peak eventually sent the strongest being within their ranks at the time as an assassin. And that was Master, who had been stroking the tangwa of the figure inscribed with Ji suddenly pats my shoulder. For some reason, even though my shoulder is being touched, I feel my heart being at ease. The newly appointed field garden heavenly lord. GWAKM. Quote. No memories surface, but I instinctively feel that this story is of immense importance. The snake den always operates in pairs. Great forest and flower plant. Great sun and torch candle. Castle wall and field garden. Sword spear and pearl jade. Great sea and rain dew. Of course, in emergencies, such rules are often ignored, but regardless, each pair forms a unit, and the sins of one are also borne by the other. So, to capture me, the one who defected from the snake den, my former partner was sent. Quote. Back then, that one was known as the strongest in the snake den. The only one who could fight a governing immortal in a one-on-one battle and win. But after I fought that one fairly and grasped victory, I, in the end, took them as my disciple. I also took their mask and kept it. Kukik, I can still remember the snake den foaming at the mouth over it. Master, stroking his goatee and laughing, places his finger on the completed tangwa. At that moment, I flinch in surprise. Chiak, the tangwa begins to burn. Smoke rises from Master's fingertip, and soon, flames engulf the tangwa. Why are you burning it? I drew it, out of nostalgia, but drawing the past when I wore the mask is unpleasant. Is there a problem? Master put a lot of effort into drawing it. It feels like a shame. A shame, huh? Is it really a shame? Quote. Pardon, Master gazes at me with sharp eyes and asks. Is it not that you are ensnared by the venom of the snake and wish to gaze upon its symbol longer? Quote. What are you? The snake den is Radiance Hall. They are the owners of light. Wo Wang. For some reason, my head starts hurting. The moment I hear those words, something submerged deep within me begins to rise. Something in my memories begins to resurface. Only after leaving the snake den did I realize. They follow fate. They sincerely believe they are following the proper fate and guiding the world righteously. But they are wrong. We believed we acted of our own free will, but in truth, from the very beginning, we were being controlled. Are you not the same? Master, disciple is not being controlled. Then why are you still here, you dull-witted brat? Do you still not understand the meaning of the tangwa I gave you? Master suddenly flares up at me and rises from his seat. At some point, a six-sided club is already in his grasp. That six-sided club is so painful that even I, who have grown accustomed to pain, can barely endure it. Frightened, I plead, Master, please forgive me. Your disciple is too dull-witted to grasp your words. Disciple merely wiped the mirror and swept the yard as Master commanded. Wiped and swept, you say. Do you even know what kind of tree the leaves you've been sweeping came from? I look at the trees Master points to and shake my head. Disciple's discernment is shallow, so I do not know. Please enlighten me. That is called the Bodhi Putti tree. I will ask again. Do you know what it is you have been sweeping and wiping? Quote. Bodhi Putti. Hearing that word, I feel something aching in my head. What is it that have I been sweeping and wiping all this time? Is it not obviously mirrors and the Bodhi tree? Yet, for some reason, I have a feeling that this is not the answer Master wants. I rack my brain desperately. To avoid the six-sided club. To avoid pain. As I strain my thoughts, a certain scene comes to mind. All things in this world are shaped by meaning. Therefore, if one understands the meaning of the world, anything can be painted as a tangwa. In a way, everything in the universe, every affair of this world, is a Buddha. These are words Master once spoke to me. And in that instant, as if thunder strikes my mind, I look up at him. If all things are meaning, then what I have been wiping and sweeping are not mirrors and the Bodhi tree. In the end, I have merely been cleansing and cleaning my meaning. My vision blurs. The surroundings begin to distort like a fading dream. Meaning. In this world, there is nothing but meaning. Then, what is that meaning? What meaning exists in this world? In this world, suddenly, something flashes through my mind like lightning. Cheongmen Ryong. The name Cheongmen Ryong. And I recall what I have learned under that name. The long years of study, from the 1st to the 14th star of Qi refining. The enlightenment of all Dharma formulas, from the 72 earthly fiends to one origin, one convergence. Yes, all formulas within Qi refining ultimately return to one origin. All meanings ultimately return to a single meaning. If all meanings are, in truth, one. I see. Neither the mirrors nor the Bodhi tree truly existed. Tears stream down my face as I bow before the being in front of me. Quote. Thank you, Master. Quote. Have you understood? A warm smile appears on their face. The figure before me is not Master in the form of Cheongmen Ryong. It is the symbol of the yellow snake. That snake is not biting its tail to form a circle, instead, it draws a circle by spiraling outward. Yes, this snake is forming a helix Luo Zan. All spells are, in truth, one. Qi, soul, fate are all one. All meanings are also one, everything is one. The essence of immortal arts is connecting with that. 1. Before I realize it, my body has returned to that of Seo Un-yun, clad in a white robe. Radiance 10 heavens or whatever, do not be bound by formulas. Only reaching the 1 is the true way to reach the ultimate. Quote. Yes, I will do so without fail. With deep enlightenment, I shed tears and bow to my master. They are Cheongman Ryong, the Salt Sea Supreme Deity, the Yellow Snake, and also the fifth seat of the Radiance 10 Heavens, Castle Wall Heavenly Lord. At last, I open my eyes. Before me, 6 suns have appeared. 6 million years have passed.